Καλησπέρα σας. Good evening. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you very much again for being with us and supporting those great efforts of the Hellenic community of Ireland to help encourage Greeks and Cypriots in Ireland to start their own business and integrate into the Irish society. And again, we have Tina Koumarianos with us. We are very lucky to have Tina with us, who is an agony aunt every Monday morning, afternoon at 3 p.m. on Virgin Media 1. And she appears on the Elaine show, and you can watch her. She's my favorite person on the show, and she deals with the country's problems. So, Tina, thank you again for joining us.
It's my
pleasure. So you answer what you do as an agony aunt, just to explain to Greeks. Agony aunt is a chat show, isn't it? And somebody comes with problems.
Yes.
And you answer personal questions. Is that right?
Yes, people write into the show if they have a problem and they want suggestions on how to deal with the problem, like if their husband's having an affair or, problems with children, something like this. So we discuss it on the show. We talk to them about it and what we think, might be the answer to the problem.
You're very open-minded, Tina, and that's
very.
what I loved about you on the show. So thank you very much for doing that. So you take over from me now, and we are starting the festival for today. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you. Well, first off, we'd love to welcome Senator Mark Daly, who is Caherloch, the chairman of the Senate of Ireland. Welcome, Mark. Or
Thanks very much for having me.
Senator Daly, as I should actually address you.
No, Mark is fine.
Is Mark fine? I don't know. Before you appeared in front of me, I was expecting somebody very old, but I'm very pleasantly surprised.
I think it's probably the sunlight is playing a trick.
Not at all. You're speaking to us from Kerry, are you?
That's right, yes.
The kingdom. The kingdom.
The kingdom is right. The kingdom without a king.
Well, listen, Mark, thanks a million for joining us today. The Hellenic community of Ireland was founded in 1964, and there were very, very few Greeks in Ireland at that stage. My family actually moved here in 1948, just after the war. So, we've had years and years here. But, I mean, there are so many Greeks in Ireland now. It's extraordinary. So thank you for wishing us all Greeks a happy Independence Day on the occasion of the bicentenary celebrations for the Greek Revolution on the 25th of March, 1821. So have you ever actually been to Greece or Cyprus?
I have been to Cyprus. I was there as part of a delegation I think it's about 10 years ago. So I have been, but I have been to Cyprus, but I haven't been to Greece. But I have obviously met your ambassador, and I've been studying the efforts of the Greek government, obviously during the financial crisis, but also the Cypriot government in terms of reunification, because obviously it's one of the debates we're having at the moment in Ireland. And Greece has been at it, and the Cypriot people have been at it along with Greece in nearly for as long as I've been born. So it's going on 40 years, and there's a lot of similarities, and of course there's huge differences as well. But it's not an easy issue.
No, actually, you're quite right. It is very, very similar, the Irish situation and Cyprus. Now, neither Greece nor Cyprus has a Senate. So could you say a few words to us on the role of the Senate here in Ireland?
Yeah, I suppose it was one of the issues that came up after partition 100 years ago this year, was how would a minority within the new Irish state of the 26 counties have its voice heard in a parliament where its overall population throughout the whole of the Republic of Ireland, the 26 counties, was only 5% of the overall population. So they had very little chance of electing any members to the Dáil, to the Parliament. So the reason that the Senate was established 100 years ago was to make sure that the Unionist community, who found themselves on the wrong side of the border, on the wrong side of partition, and the Protestant community would have a voice within the parliamentary system. So there was quite a disproportionate amount of members of the Protestant community, members of the Senate. In fact, the first chairperson of the Senate was a Lord Glengavin. So he was a member of the Protestant community, and a large minority of the senators back then, 100 years ago, were Protestants. And so that was its purpose. Its purpose was to give voice to minorities. It was then brought into a new existence in the Constitution in 1937, and it was based on Catholic social teaching, along with being devised by a mathematician. So it's the most convoluted electoral system in the world. I won't even bore you about how difficult it is to get elected. My first Senate election, I travelled the equivalent of driving from Ireland to Perth in Australia in 6 weeks.
That's
and I
unreal.
never left the country. And we get elected by public representatives. So the members of the councils all around Ireland and the members of the Dáil, the members of the Senate, they vote for the Senate. And then there are 6 senators elected by universities. And again, part of the reason for that was that 3 of the 6 were elected by Trinity College. One college elected 3 of the senators. All the other colleges elected the other 3. But that was because at the time in 1937, Trinity College was a Protestant university, mainly attended by members of the Protestant community, and therefore it would virtually be guaranteed that 3 senators would be from the Protestant community, regardless of what else happened. And then 11 get appointed by the Taoiseach. That's partly to get a bit of diversity, but also to ensure the government has a majority in the Senate. So the Senate's job really has always been about representing minorities and minority opinions. And we've had 3 presidents have served in the Senate. So Michael D. Higgins, the current president, was in the Senate. The first president, who was a member of the Protestant community, was also a senator for a time. And Mary Robinson also served in the Senate. And Mary McAleese's husband, President McAleese's husband, also was a senator. I served with him as well. So it represents not only minority communities, but also minority opinions. So in relation to gay rights, our longest serving senator, David Norris, was a member of the gay community and was championing the rights of that community when it was illegal. Really? It was illegal. So he championed those rights, that minority opinions became the majority opinions. So that is its role. Its role is about scrutinising legislation, but it's also its primary function has always been about representing minority groups and minority opinions.
That's quite extraordinary. I mean, that was sticking his neck out at the time, when it was illegal. That was very brave of him. Tell me something. What is your role as chairman of the Senate?
Well, that's a good question. My role is like a referee. So when I'm a member of my party, the government party, Fianna Fáil, when you become the Cathaoirleach, you have to step back from being a representative of your party as such. And your job is to be the referee between all sides. So we would have regular meetings of the leaders of the groups and the whips, which I would chair. And then we would discuss what issues we should move forward on and how we should proceed on everything from how to handle the pandemic in the chamber, how to organise votes in the chamber when we have to do with social distancing. And next year, of course, is the 100th anniversary of our Senate. So we have to, oversee how we would mark that occasion, recognising, obviously, the people who served prior to us and those who served over the last 100 years, but also those who will serve in the future, and what role the Senate will continue to have into the future, because it must keep evolving and changing as society changes.
Ah, yes. And finally, Mark, how long does the chairmanship last? I mean, is it like the presidency in the States, 4 years, or how does that go?
It normally lasts the term of the the Parliament. So if the Parliament runs with a maximum of 5 years, then the chair would sit for the 5 years. But in this particular instance, because of the agreement between the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and the government parties, on the day that our Taoiseach steps down, Micheál Martin steps down, and then Leo Varadkar becomes the new Taoiseach in December next year, December 2022.
Yes.
Then I will reverse roles with the deputy Cathaoirleach at the moment, the deputy chair. He will become the chair in December 2022, so December next year. So I have about 2.5 years. I've done about 9 months so far, and I have another 2 years roughly to go.
Well, do you know something, Mark? You taught me everything I didn't know about the Senate tonight. That was very, very interesting. Thank you. That was great. And again, thank you so much for joining us from Kerry. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, and may I wish you the best luck and every success. And again, on your 200th anniversary of the start of your War of Independence, and the key role that a lot of Irish people played in that. I'm delighted that they did, and look forward to working with everybody in the community here and into the future.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Good
you.
night.
God bless.
Now I would like to introduce Theo Zoutas of Crowdlink Audio Visual Dublin. Theo, good evening. Lovely to see you again.
Hi, Tina.
You've been so good to us over the last couple of nights. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you. So a million thanks from all of us. Tell me, how did you get into this type of business?
So this type of business, it's a long story. So when I was a student, I started learning music. I was playing accordion. Then on the last class of the school, I started music technology at that time. And when I was at school, I built my first home studio, starting making music. Then by finishing school next year, because I was very keen to learn more and more, I started working as a helper in the theater, in the municipal theater of Volos, and also in parallel I was doing my studies in music technology. And then from next year I started working as a sound engineer for the municipal theater and teacher of music technology. This was one love. The second love was the photography. I was doing also some photography classes. I was developing film at that time, and this was the kickstart of my career between the technical and the artistic, and I'm trying to combine both as much I can. I have worked as a teacher for music technology several years. I have composed music for theater, and also I have been working as audiovisual engineer for many years, and also I have done a lot of work as production manager for events.
So you're a composer as well. You're multi-talented. That's amazing. I didn't know that. Tell me, when did you come to Ireland and why?
So it was back in 2015 when was the bailout of in Greece and with the capital controls. It was a similar situation like what happened last year with the capital control, and the situation has some similarities that because of capital control, everything that was involving culture and events was stopped because of lack of funds and was third and or fourth priority. And at that time, because of the whole stability, I didn't know if my profession and my work had a future in Greece. I decided to go abroad. Google was my friend. I started seeking for work abroad in an English-speaking country, and I found a job in Ireland. I didn't know where Ireland was in the map.
Well, that's very brave, but very good that you came to Ireland, because I mean we have a lot of funding here to help people. Did you manage to get any funding to set up, or did you do it all on your own?
Yes, I have. It was and still is a very strange situation at the moment with the lockdown, the COVID. My profession, the events that we're doing, actually are banned. So the company I was working for the last 5 years went to liquidation, and after that I got support through the short-term enterprise allowance, and this helped me to start working either as freelancer and also set up that small let's say production company.
Yeah, well, I have to admire you. I mean, having come over to get away from a problem, you came into another problem, and yet you've managed to go forward and open your own business. I wish you the very, very best of luck with it, Theo.
Thanks a million.
Pleasure. Now, we are going to move on to Pondas Miniatures. Some of you who tuned in yesterday will remember that lovely video from Fondas. Unfortunately, the recording wasn't very good, so we've invited Fondas to come back and join us again so we can ask him some more questions. Firstly, Fondas, when did your interest in making miniatures begin?
I started very young with carving small ships with a small knife. So eventually I evolved this and I created bigger ones, and then I started making scenes, mainly for wood. I like wood to work, yeah.
Yes.
It's the best.
The work is so intricate, it's so tiny. Where do you source your materials from?
Of course the hobby stores, but I can use anything around me, even a pencil around me. A small pencil can make a beer, let's say, a bottle of beer or something.
Really?
From the shape or something. I can trigger anything I can see around me.
Do you use recycled goods at all?
Yes, of course. Any unused items is useful for me, especially the tiny ones.
Yes, yeah, now
Beads
of course
and
with,
stuff, yeah.
Yes, with hobby shops closed, I suppose even more so. Tell me, that Georgian door and the dresser, and you know, with the wear and tear on it, it wasn't just perfect. It had the paint scuffed and everything, and the tiny little shoes and boots. I mean, that is amazing work, and you must have very good eyesight.
A magnifier, actually, it helps.
Oh, magnifying glass. And the barber's chair, the little red barber's chair. It was amazing. Tell me, these are clearly collector's items. They're not children's toys.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
it's totally a lot of work.
A lot of work, and it must take a very long time for each.
Yes, sometimes months.
Oh, really? Months?
Yeah.
Oh, a long time. Fondas, how can people contact you? By Instagram, website?
I have an Instagram, yes, it's cfondas. They can follow me over there. I posting constantly some new items over there. And of course, it's a website, www.fondas.art. Then you can buy from there. Of course, on Instagram, he has a shop as well. You can buy as well from Instagram directly.
Oh, right, okay. And of course, contact through the Hellenic community.
Obviously.
Yes. Fondas, thank you so much. I think your work is amazing. Beautiful. Thank you. Now, we are going to have a video from Seagull Calligraphy.
Το θέμα για το οποίο θα μιλήσουμε είναι η γραφή πριν και μετά το 1821. Πόσα πράγματα άραγε γνωρίζουμε για αυτό το θέμα? Είναι ελάχιστες οι πληροφορίες. Ενώ αρκετοί ερευνητές έχουν ασχοληθεί με το θέμα της ελληνικής γλώσσας ενδελεχώς και ξέρουμε πάρα πολλά στοιχεία για τις διαλέκτους και τις γλώσσες οι οποίες υπήρχαν στον ελλαδικό χώρο πριν και κατά τη διάρκεια της Επανάστασης, για τις γραφές, για τον τρόπο και τα εργαλεία γραφής ξέρουμε ελάχιστα. Και υπάρχει ένα μεγάλο θέμα εδώ, γιατί υπάρχει μια πολύ μεγάλη και διαφορετική διαστρωμάτωση σε αυτό το θέμα. Για να μάθει ένα παιδί κατά τη διάρκεια της τουρκοκρατίας ή αμέσως μετά την Επανάσταση, ο μόνος τρόπος που υπήρχε ήταν να διδαχτεί τα γράμματα επάνω στις πλάκες του σχιστολίθου με φυσικά το γνωστό μας κονδύλι. Δεν υπήρχε άλλη δυνατότητα. Και νομίζω ότι αν υπήρχαν πλάκες με ξύλο γύρω-γύρω θα ήταν και πολυτελείας. Απλές σχιστολιθικές πλάκες και σχιστόλιθο στον οποίο γράφανε, χαράζανε για να μάθουν τα γράμματα ή στην πιο απλή ακόμα περίπτωση ένα κομμάτι ξυλοκάρβουνο που μπορούσε πάνω σε μία λία επιφάνεια να γράψουν και να ξαναγράψουν. Εννοείται πως τα γράμματα τα οποία μαθαίνανε προέρχονταν καθαρά και μόνο από θρησκευτικά κείμενα. Δεν υπήρχαν άλλα διαθέσιμα βιβλία βάσει των οποίων θα μπορούσαν να μάθουν γράμματα. Η δυνατότητα να διαθέτουν μελάνια, φτερά, κονδυλοφόρους κτλ. Δεν υπήρχε στα κατώτερα στρώματα των ανθρώπων της εποχής εκείνης. Οι αγωνιστές μας από την άλλη πλευρά πάλι ήταν άνθρωποι που όσα γράμματα είχαν μάθει ή τα είχαν μάθει μόνοι τους. Ο Μακρυγιάννης λέει 2 μήνες έκανε για να τα μάθει, για να μπορέσει να καταγράψει τα απομνημονεύματά του, ή τα είχαν μάθει και εκείνοι βάσει των θρησκευτικών κειμένων. Το ίδιο ισχύει και για το Φωτάκο, το ίδιο ισχύει για τον Κολοκοτρώνη. Δεν είναι άνθρωποι υψηλής παιδείας, είναι άνθρωποι που έχουν μάθει κάποια γράμματα για να μπορέσουν να προσφέρουν τις εμπειρίες τους. Και τα εργαλεία γραφής τους είναι συνήθως φτηνά χαρτιά, πάρα πολύ φθηνή μελάνη, που θα δείξουμε πώς γίνεται, ό,τι υλικό μπορούσε να ήταν διαθέσιμο σε αυτές τις περιπτώσεις και κατά τη διάρκεια φυσικά οι άνθρωποι αυτοί ήταν σε διαρκή κίνηση. Οι περισσότεροι από αυτούς είχαν τη δυνατότητα να έχουν μαζί τους αυτό εδώ το αντικείμενο. Αυτό εδώ το αντικείμενο περιλαμβάνει ένα μελανοδοχείο, φτιάχνανε το μελάνι, το βάζανε μέσα σε αυτές τις θήκες και φυσικά μία θήκη στην οποία μέσα έμπαινε είτε κάποιο φτερό ή καλάμι, το οποίο φυσικά δεν είχε όλα αυτά τα φτερά εδώ πέρα για να μπορεί να χωράει εδώ μέσα και να μεταφέρεται, ή πάρα πολύ φτηνές ποιότητας πένες και αν μπορούσαν να βρουν κάτι τέτοιο. Όλα αυτά όμως τις περισσότερες φορές ήταν απλά πράγματα που μπορούσαν να φτιάξουν οποιαδήποτε στιγμή μόνοι τους. Αυτό το αντικείμενο ήταν αυτό που κουβαλούσαν μαζί τους για να μπορέσουν να γράψουν. Το δε μελάνι με το οποίο μπορούσαν να γράψουν ήταν ένα μελάνι το οποίο είχε σαβάσει το φούμο, δηλαδή την καπνιά. Είναι μια διαδικασία η οποία ήταν σχετικά απλή και ήταν και πολύ εύκολη και μπορούσαν να την κάνουν παντού. Στην πραγματικότητα λοιπόν τι κάνανε, παίρνανε ένα κερί, παίρνανε μια μεταλλική επιφάνεια, το ακουμπάγανε επάνω, μετά λοιπόν αφού αυτό εδώ πέρα μάζευε όλη την καπνιά από το κερί, βάζανε σε κάποιο χώρο σαν το γουδοχέρι που έχω εδώ πέρα, θα μπορούσε κάλλιστα να ήταν απλά η γούβα ενός βράχου και ο βράχος, ξύνανε την καπνιά, την ανακατεύανε με το νερό και όλο αυτό αφού το διαλύανε καλά-καλά, περιμένανε να στεγνώσει και λίγο, να γίνει δηλαδή πιο συμπαγής, να μπει μέσα στη θήκη που έδειξα πριν, για να μπορέσουν μετά αυτοί να βάλουν νερό, να την ξανακάνουν λίγο πιο υδαρή, για να μπορέσουν να ξεκινήσουν να γράφουν ό,τι ήταν να γράψουν. Καταλαβαίνετε λοιπόν ότι τα εργαλεία τα οποία διαθέταν αυτοί οι άνθρωποι για να γράψουν δεν ήταν ούτε τα πιο εύκολα, ούτε τα πιο καλά. Αντίθετα, στον αντίποδα αυτής της κατάστασης ήταν φυσικά οι λόγοι του αγώνα. Οι φιλικοί, ο Σολωμός, οι λογοτέχνες, ο Καποδίστριας, ο Μπάιρον, όλοι αυτοί φυσικά δεν είχαν αυτά τα φτηνά υλικά. Το οπλοστάσιο των εργαλείων γραφής τους είναι τελείως διαφορετικό. Είχαν αντικείμενα πολυτελείας, εξαιρετικές πένες, έχουμε μελανοδοχεία, έχουμε στιπόχαρτα και μάλιστα άλλοτε χαμηλότερες ή άλλοτε πολύ υψηλής ποιότητας, μελανοδοχεία σκαλισμένα, όπως το μελανοδοχείο του Καποδίστρια ή του Σολομού. Οι ίδιοι αυτοί οι άνθρωποι όταν συνήθως στέλνανε και τις επιστολές τους, είχαν και τη δυνατότητα να έχουν σφραγίδες και βουλοκαίρι, να στείλουν τις επιστολές τους με τον τρόπο που δεν θα μπορούσε ποτέ να τις στείλει ο Μακρυγιάννης. Έκλειναν λοιπόν τις επιστολές τους, έπειτα λιώνανε λοιπόν το βουλοκαίρι επάνω στην φωτιά, στάζανε επάνω στο γράμμα, ακουμπάγανε μετά τη σφραγίδα τους, πράγμα το οποίο τους διευκόλυνε πάρα πολύ στο να είναι ασφαλής η αλληλογραφία με την οποία επικοινωνούσαν μεταξύ τους. Βάζανε τη σφραγίδα τους και φυσικά η σφραγίδα τους, έτσι όπως την εβάζανε, με την ίδια πρακτική χρησιμοποιείται πάντα το βουλοκαίρι. Δεν υπήρχε απλά το να γνωρίζεις το γραφικό χαρακτήρα και να ξέρεις ένα αναγνωριστικό που βάζανε μεταξύ τους οι αγωνιστές για να γνωρίζει ο ένας ποιος ήταν ο άλλος. Ακόμη μεγαλύτερη δυνατότητα και ποικιλία εννοείται γραφικής ύλης είχε ο Πατριάρχης. Οι γραφές του Πατριάρχη, οι οποίοι συνήθως ήταν πολύ μεγάλα κείμενα, τα οποία ήταν συνήθως περγαμηνά. Αυτά είναι τα συγγίλια εκείνης της εποχής. Βγαίνουν σε διάφορα σχήματα, αλλά ο σκοπός ήταν να μπορεί να διπλωθεί με αυτόν τον τρόπο και να κλείσει, ώστε να μπορεί να έχει κορδόνια για να αναγνωρίζεται αν όντως ήταν του Πατριάρχη και φυσικά σφραγίζονταν με το χρυσόβουλο του Πατριάρχη, πάλι με βουλοκαίρι, ώστε να φτάσουν φυσικά, γιατί αυτά ήταν υψής της σημασίας έγγραφα, με ασφάλεια στον παραλήπτη τους. Μεταξύ του πατριαρχικού συγγυλίου και της χιστολιθικής πλάκας των παιδιών υπάρχει ένα χάος. Παρόλα αυτά όμως, όλα αυτά τα κείμενα μαζί συνθέτουν στην ουσία τη βιβλιογραφία και την τεκμηρίωση του επαναστατικού αγώνα, γιατί αν δεν υπήρχαν όλα αυτά, η γνώση των απομνημονωμάτων του Μακρυγιάννη ή η γνώση όλων των αντικειμένων των οποίων μας έχουν φτάσει μέχρι τα χέρια μας σήμερα, δεν θα υπήρχε αν δεν υπήρχε όλη αυτή η ποικιλία των υλικών την οποία βλέπουμε μπροστά μας σήμερα.
Thank you very much from Maria Genitsariou. Maria, unfortunately, she cannot join us online because she is in Salamina, which is an area outside Athens, the famous, I know Salamina from a famous battle. Maria, you can see, we met Maria last year at the 4th Business and Arts Festival, where she was representing the Lefkadio Hearn Center. And today as well, she would speak about the Lefkadio Hearn Center in Lefkada. But unfortunately, we can't have her with us. Hopefully next year, live, she will visit us again to show us some of those magnificent creations she's making. She's like Fonda's, it's a great continuation from Fonda's presentation, I think, because they're both people that do what they love, and it shows. It's really coming from the heart, those creations that Maria is making and Fonda's is making. And again, Maria's creations are collector's items. And the Γραφές του 21, which is the writings of the 1821, it's a sponsored project that she did. And it where she presents how the people around that time in Greece used to write the letters and what was the technique they were using, what they were the materials they were using. So I think it's extremely beautiful, the work she's done and she's showing. And we would like to have her in our school to show us as adults and children how it used to be, writing used to take place at that time. So thank you very much, Maria. I know you're watching us if you have internet in Salamina. We are sorry we can't have you, but we appreciate all the lovely work you do and your commitment to the Hellenic community of Ireland. Thank you. So Tina is taking over again. Thank you, Tina.
Now we'd like to have a video and welcome Paddy Salmon, who is president of the Irish Hellenic Society, and then we'll have a chat with Paddy.
We're going to join with Paddy in a minute. And until that happens, I want to just say a few words about the Irish Hellenic Society. It was founded in 1962 and some of its founding members were founding members or very active members in the Hellenic community as well. So the Irish Hellenic they will celebrate their 60 years next year, isn't it? And the Hellenic community then follows in 2 years. So we are very lucky to have people like Paddy and the other members of the board of the Irish Hellenic Society and the members of the Irish Hellenic Society to work with us, help us, celebrate with us, and love us so much in Ireland. So Paddy's here, so Tina will interview Paddy, and thank you, Tina, again, and welcome, Paddy.
Good evening, Paddy. How are you?
Hello, Tina. Lovely to see you again.
And you too. And now you're the president of the Irish Hellenic Society. And as Stella said, the society was founded just a couple of years before the Hellenic community back in 1962. How long have you been a member?
Oh, since about 1996, actually. I mean, I knew about this society, but I was living abroad, and of course, part of the reason was that I was in Greece. So it's hard to be a member of the society when you're in Greece. I lived in Greece for 6 years overall. I had two postings there, and I know Greece very, very well. So Greece is the country I know best after Ireland.
Yes, so you sought out the Irish Hellenic Society as soon as you came back because of your love of Greece?
Pretty much,
yes?
yeah.
And tell me, what are your organisation's objectives? And why do you participate in this festival?
Well, I see the festival as being a combination of business and pleasure. And in the Irish Hellenic Society, we're mostly into the pleasure side of things.
Yes.
And, one of the great pleasures in life is learning. So, for the last 60 years, we've had meetings. Mostly we have lectures, but also trips. Every summer we have a trip, mostly on the longest day of the year, around the 20th of June. And we see parts of Ireland, but most of our members go to Greece as well. Every year after year after year. So that is the big thrill, is to be in Greece. And we all wish we had been in Greece over the last 12 months, and we'll be going there soon again.
Yes.
Please God.
Do you return to Greece quite often then?
I would. I love to be in Greece, yes. So the pictures you just saw now in beautiful black and white pictures by Sean McCrum, they're of the south of Crete, looking onto the Libyan Sea. So it's so easy now to get from Dublin a direct flight to Chania, and you hop over in a taxi or a bus to the south side of the island and you're on the Libyan Sea. And it's a different universe, really, really magnificent,
Yes.
Whereas previously it would have been very, very difficult to get there,
Of course. And tell me, Paddy, how long will you be president of the society?
Probably for another 2 years. There's a 4-year maximum term, and then it's the term of somebody else to start up.
And what are your plans for the next 2 years?
I suppose the plans at the moment is to see how soon we can get back to physical meetings safely. But we have also reaped the benefits of having Theos Utos help us from an absolutely abysmal depth of ignorance about anything to do with video conferencing to being able to organize our meetings very successfully since last October. And it's been a great pleasure to learn from him about a technology I knew absolutely nothing about. And every single aspect of video conferencing, from having decent sound to having the light right and to having the right machinery. Personally, I was coming from the very, very dark ages.
Yeah, well, most of us do. But I mean, life has changed so much over the last year because, of course, this is becoming quite the norm. Zoom calls, whatever. People are having to work from home. So you have quite a bit of catching up to do once the lockdown lifts and people can meet again.
Yes, we're looking forward to going back to our old haunt, which is in the United Arts Club. on Fitzwilliam Street, a beautiful, beautiful building. And the United Arts Club has been there since 1906. And it's possible, it has the great advantage that it's possible to go there after 7 o'clock. Parking is free. And there are very few places in Dublin where one can bring one's car and park, if one has one's car, and enjoy himself. And the United Arts Club has its own little pub. It's not a shebeen, it's quite legit. And after our meetings, we go down and socialise. So making friends is very much part of the Irish Hellenic Society. And we love to meet our friends in a setting where we can learn and then also socialise afterwards. And we have every year, for the last number of years, we've had a wonderful pre-Christmas lunch. We call it our Christmas lunch in the Royal St. George Yacht Club in Dunleary, which is a magnificent venue. And we've been very, very lucky to be able to go there for the last number of years.
Yes, I know it well. Paddy, what sort of ideas have you got planned? Anything in particular that you particularly would like to see come to fruition?
What I would really like to do is to exploit what we have learned this last year to expand our membership, because like many other societies of our type, it's very, very difficult for people now to find housing anywhere near Dublin. Housing has become excessively expensive for young people. And if we are to have people at our physical meetings in particular, they have to be able to get to the centre of Dublin. So I think in future, this is purely my own personal speculation, that our meetings will probably be a combination of some physical meetings and some meetings using video conferencing, the likes of Zoom or some other software.
Oh, right, okay. And for people who would like to join the Irish Hellenic Society, how would they go about that?
We have a website, irishhellenic.ie, and they can take it from there.
Great. Paddy, it's been a pleasure talking to you again.
All mine, Tina. Lovely to see you again.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
And now we have a video from Stratos from Charlie Pearce Creations. Unfortunately, he can't be with us, but we have his video.
Hi, my name is Evstratios Karanikolis, but here in Ireland everyone knows me as Piercer Charlie. I have been in the industry as professional body piercer and business owner since August 1999, a job which I love and I have grown to be an expert at. I just keep doing what I love and outside of Greece. I and my family originally come from Mytilene, a beautiful island northeast of Aegean Sea, while my business partner Antonis come from Athens. We started Piercer Charlie's Creations as a family business, and as we grow, we introduce new members to our team. Members who above all show professionalism, good character, and trust. At the moment, we are employing my wife, Irene, my son, Xarchos, and Orla. I have always loved anything creative and at the same time enjoy making people happy. I get both with this job, creations and happy faces. For me, actually, this doesn't feel like my job, more like my hobby, which I love. Like the philosopher Confucius once said, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. I'm one of these lucky ones. And I can say the same for all our members. Let's make this year beautiful. A 18-karat solid gold power ring with Swarovski zirconia crystals, prong set single crystal with Swarovski zirconia, a beautiful dieth ring with zirconia baguettes, Oh, this beautiful hummingbird by BVLA, it's one of my favorites. On the helix and a little tiny tribit. Everything is solid gold. Pierce Charlie's creations, dedicated exclusively to body piercing and providing Ireland's largest collection of fine jewellery.
I'm now passing over to Stella because there are quite a few Greek people and I have zero Greek. So over to Stella now.
Thank you, Tina. Your Greek is actually coming from the heart, so that's what is important. It might not be in the Greek words, but we are very happy for all you are giving us. So, Όθωνα, καλησπέρα.
Καλησπέρα.
Good evening. Όθωνας ήρθε στην Ιρλανδία από την Αυστραλία, νομίζω, Όθωνα, έτσι δεν είναι?
Ναι, ακριβώς.
Πώς σου φάνηκε η Ιρλανδία μετά την Αυστραλία?
Μας άρεσε πάρα πολύ το Δουβλίνο. Θέλαμε να είμαστε στην Ευρώπη, να είμαστε κοντά και στην πατρίδα.
Ναι.
Μας άρεσε πάρα πολύ ο λαός της Ιρλανδίας. Είναι πολύ φιλόξενος και πολύ πρόσχαρος λαός. Και έτσι αποφασίσαμε να εγκατασταθούμε μόνιμα εδώ.
Μπράβο. Και ήρθατε μόλις πέρυσι. Ήρθατε ένα μήνα πριν το lockdown, νομίζω, έτσι δεν είναι?
2 μήνες περίπου
2 μήνες πριν το lockdown. Καλώς ορίσατε και στην Ιρλανδία και στην ελληνική κοινότητα και στον κόσμο των επιχειρήσεων της Ιρλανδίας. Όθωνα,
Καλώς σας βρήκαμε.
Πώς αποφάσισες να δουλέψεις με πολύτιμους λίθους και να κάνεις αυτήν την φοβερή ψιλοδουλειά? Αυτό το πράγμα δηλαδή που είναι σαν να είσαι επιστήμονας με το μικροσκόπιο και να βλέπεις πού ακριβώς θα πάει το κάθε ψεγαδάκι. Πώς το αποφάσισες? Γιατί σου άρεσε τόσο πολύ?
Είναι όντως πολύ λεπτοδουλειά. Είναι ο αδερφός μου Χρυσοχώος, είναι μεγαλύτερος από μένα. Και όταν πήγαινα στο εργαστήριό του έβλεπα κατά διαστήματα, εκτός από κοσμήματα και πέτρες, πολύτιμους λίθους που του φέρνανε. Μου άρεσαν πάρα πολύ πολύτιμοι λίθοι.
Τι
έτσι
σου άρεσε
ξεκίνησε.
δηλαδή? Σου άρεσαν τα χρώματα? Τι σου άρεσε? Τι ήταν αυτό? Εκτός από το κόστος και τα λοιπά, αλλά τι σου άρεσε?
Από το που πηγάζει μέχρι και η λάμψη κάθε πέτρας. Γιατί δεν είναι μόνο μία πέτρα, έχουμε πάρα πολλές πέτρες. Είναι πάρα πολλά τα χρώματα και μου άρεσε η όλη διαδικασία που γίνεται για την έμφαση στο κόσμημα. Παρατηρούσα ότι την έδινε η πέτρα.
Ναι.
Κάπως έτσι ξεκίνησα.
Ναι.
Ξεκίνησε το ενδιαφέρον μου. Μου άρεσε πάρα
Από
πολύ.
μικρό παιδί δηλαδή έβλεπες τον αδερφό σου και τα χρώματα τα διάφορα ή ναι?
Από μικρός.
Μάλιστα,
Ναι.
μάλιστα. Πολύ ωραία. Οπότε συνεχίζεις και μπράβο που συνεχίζεις έτσι αυτή τη δουλειά που σου άρεσε από τότε. Και ξεκίνησες, ήρθες εδώ και ξεκίνησες, άρχισες να βρίσκεις τις άκρες σιγά σιγά, έτσι, και να δουλεύεις και μπράβο σου.
Πάρα πολύ γρήγορα. Πολύ γρήγορα. Μέσα σε πολύ λίγες μέρες βρήκα εργαστήριο και συνεργάζομαι με έναν υπέροχο άνθρωπο.
Μπράβο.
Φοβερός συνεργάσιμος.
Ναι.
Είμαι πολύ ευχαριστημένος.
Just to say a few words in English, Othonas only arrived a year ago, just 2 months before the lockdown, and he loved working with precious stones because he was watching his brother since he was a child because he has a jewelry shop in Athens, is it? Στην Αθήνα, Όθωνα έχει ο αδερφός
Στην Αθήνα, στην Αθήνα.
Yeah, in Athens, and so he grew to like the colors and the texture of the precious stones, and that's how the interest started, and now he works as a diamond setter, which is what the diamond setter does. Is that it takes the small pieces of stone, of diamond, and he puts it on wedding rings or in different other pieces of jewelry. So that's what he does. But what we don't realize, and we're going to see it in the video, is how microscopic is this work. So Othonas works like a scientist with a microscope. So it's a beautiful work that you do, Othona. I've seen some of the pieces, and I don't remember asking you how much it costs, but I know that it's beautiful what you do. So thank you very much. Καλή τύχη, Othona.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Θα τα πας καλά, γιατί είσαι καλός άνθρωπος, αντιμετωπίζεις τη ζωή με χαμόγελο και αυτό αρέσει στους Ιρλανδούς. Τους αρέσει και η τιμιότητα η οποία σε χαρακτηρίζει, και νομίζω ότι θα τα πας πάρα πολύ καλά. Και
σε ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Είμαι
θα
σίγουρος.
σε βοηθήσουμε όσο μπορούμε σαν ελληνική κοινότητα.
Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ και ιδιαίτερα και εσένα, Στέλλα. Σε ευχαριστώ για τη βοήθειά σου.
Καλή τύχη.
Hi, my name is Othonas Minas and I live in Dublin. I want to present my work.
Good evening, Constantina. How are you? Good, very well. We're going to have a look at a video of your work first, and then we'll have a chat.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Konstantina Karagianni and I live in the Liberties in Dublin, Ireland with my husband. I'm a visual artist. I studied in the Athens School of Fine Arts and I love abstract painting. I feel free when I paint, and I don't follow the rules. Images and landscapes trap my spirit. I love playing with materials from nature, such as sand and tree leaves, which I mix with acrylics. Ireland inspires me.
Beautiful paintings, Constantina. Very, very
Hi,
beautiful.
how are you?
Wonderful. You studied at the Athens School of Fine Art. When was
Yes.
that?
Just a moment. I want to open the voice.
Oh, no problem. I can
And-
hear you.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I haven't. I can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me?
Okay. No worries.
Can you hear me?
Could you? No. Yes, I can. I can hear you. Could you please repeat your question?
Yes, certainly. I said you studied at the Athens School of Fine Art. When
Yes.
was that? What year?
Okay. Was 5 years, 2005 until 2010.
Oh, you're so long. A long course. A long course.
Yes, it's 5 years.
Yes.
The last year is the year that you take your diploma.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. And you moved to Ireland with your husband, who we've just seen his very intricate work with the diamonds.
Yes, exactly.
So you prefer to use all natural materials from nature, such as the sea, the sand, leaves, this sort of
tree
thing.
leaves, yes.
And is this something you use all the time? Is this your main?
Usually I do. I like to combine with with material from nature. It's not for me. It's very important to leave myself free. I want to paint freely. So nature, the material from nature help me.
Yes, I noticed you don't like to paint images or landscapes because you find them too constricting.
Yeah, exactly. I think that trap my spirit, all of these. I prefer to have the images in my mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes. And transport them onto the canvas. You like to work in acrylics as well?
Yes, acrylics. Only at the end I put oil colors only on the parts when I want to emphasize more.
Yes. And tell me, I find very interesting about covering the canvas with foil before painting. Is this something you thought up, or is this generally something that's used a lot in art?
Exactly. I want to cover the canvas with foil, and before painting, and after I scratch the surface. So the second layer reveals underneath. I want to play and to paint. I want to play with the layers most of all.
Yes, yes. And you like abstract painting most of all?
After painting. Of course, my education was about academic painting. I mean, very nature painting. And easy, I would like to abstract. So, I mean, that it's very important to learn how can sketch and draw a bottle, an apple, or a landscape. But it's good to know how you can abstract the same time. You know what I mean? I mean, it's very important for me to my composition to have good. How can I say? An academic base with abstract
ideas.
Yes, ideas.
Ah, and tell me, if somebody is your art on view anywhere? If somebody wanted to contact you, how would they do that?
You mean how people could contact with me?
Yes.
Via my email and via Greek community.
Yes, and if they wanted to view your paintings, where could they view your paintings?
Sorry?
If they wanted to see your paintings.
Okay. I have created a page in Facebook.
Yes.
If they want to see. And I try to collect all of these and to make an exhibition. I try to work with that way.
Very good, very good. Konstantina, it was a pleasure speaking to you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to pass back to Stella because we have more Greek speaking.
Thank you, Tina. And you can see when we have people like Konstantina, Othonas, so many other Greeks that come to Ireland, and there are different needs that we're trying to cover. They're lovely people. We are very lucky to have all those people coming to Ireland, and we're very happy to that the community is growing, and we are growing together with the growing numbers. We have growing needs as well. So the Greek school of the Hellenic community of Ireland was established official. I mean, we received the first teacher from the ministry, the Greek Ministry of Education, back in 2002, I think September we started. I always, I'm never certain whether it was 2002 or 2003, but I think it was September 2002. I know it, and when I am about to say it, I make a mistake usually. But anyway, so I think it will be our 20 years next year. And we are lucky because we have so many Greek parents and Irish friends that want to learn Greek. And it started from the beginning with husbands and wives of Greeks in Ireland, and a few other non-related, directly related Irish people that filled the classes. So we now have a small video that we're going to show. We produced, Theodoris Teos produced that video. for the International Greek Language Day back in February. And it just gives people a taste of of the Greek learning of some of our students. So, and then we will interview some of our teachers.
Μαθαίνω ελληνικά.
Γιατί λατρεύω την Ελλάδα.
Και όταν μεγαλώσω θέλω να μείνω Ελλάδα.
Για να μιλάω στις διακοπές μας στην Ελλάδα. Θέλω να διατηρήσω το πολιτισμό μου μέσω της ελληνικής γλώσσας.
Γιατί θέλω να μιλήσω ελληνικά. Μαθαίνω ελληνικά, γιατί είμαι Ελληνίδα.
Για να μπορώ να μιλάω.
Λατρεύω την ελληνική μυθολογία. Μαθαίνω ελληνικά για να μην ξεχάσω τη γλώσσα μου.
Είναι καλό κάποιος να ξέρει μία δεύτερη γλώσσα.
Για να μπορώ να μιλάω με την οικογένειά μου στην Ελλάδα.
Θέλω να μπορώ να επικοινωνώ στα ελληνικά με τους Έλληνες.
Θέλω να πάω στην Αθήνα να ζω εκεί.
Για να κρατήσω τις ρίζες μου.
Γιατί πριν 7 χρόνια γνώρισα έναν όμορφο Έλληνα και ερωτεύτηκα.
Για να κάνω κάτι για τον παππού και τη γιαγιά.
Για να πάρω το γάμα 2. Ξανά.
Ξέρω να μιλάω ελληνικά, θα μ' άρεσε να διαβάζω και να γράφω. Γεια!
Καλησπέρα Ξανθή, καλώς όρισες.
Καλησπέρα Στέλλα μου. Και πριν ξεκινήσεις να σας δώσω πολλά συγχαρητήρια σε όλους όσους αγωνιστήκατε να παρουσιάσετε αυτό που βλέπουμε. Είναι καταπληκτικό, φοβερή πρωτοβουλία και να είστε καλά, να συνεχίσετε γεροί και δυνατοί να το κάνετε συνέχεια.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ Ξανθή. Μου θυμίζει, επειδή έχω τώρα και σε βλέπω, μου θυμίζει τις προσπάθειες έτσι, που καταβάλαμε τότε πριν από 20 περίπου χρόνια και λίγο παραπάνω όταν ξεκινήσαμε με το κέντρο ελληνικής, πώς το λέγαμε, τέλος πάντων η Σταυρούλα, η Θωμαΐο, θα θυμούνται πώς το λέγαμε, αυτή τη στιγμή δεν θυμάμαι, αλλά έτσι σκληρά δουλεύαμε και τότε και ακόμα, όπως ξέρεις Ξανθή, δουλεύουμε πάρα πολύ σκληρά για το σχολείο μας, γιατί αγαπάμε πολύ το σχολείο, αγαπάμε πολύ τη γλώσσα μας και ξέρω ότι και εσύ αγαπάς πάρα πολύ το επάγγελμά σου, αγαπάς πάρα πολύ τα παιδιά, αγαπάς πάρα πολύ την ελληνική γλώσσα. Και είμαστε τυχεροί που έχουμε εκπαιδευτικούς και σαν και σένα, αλλά Ξανθή ξέρω ότι είναι δύσκολο για έναν εκπαιδευτικό όταν πρωτοέρχεται στην Ιρλανδία. Οπότε θέλω να μου πεις καταρχήν από πού κατάγεσαι στην Ελλάδα και μετά πώς ήταν αυτή η εμπειρία, πώς αποφάσισες να έρθεις στην Ιρλανδία και πόσο διαφορετική είναι αυτή η εμπειρία από την εμπειρία που έχει ένας εκπαιδευτικός όταν διδάσκει σε ένα κανονικό σχολείο στην Ελλάδα. Και όταν έρχεται έτσι σε μια μικρή χώρα, σε ένα μικρό σχολείο, σαν το δικό μας, που δεν είναι κανονικό σχολείο, αλλά είναι το τμήμα ελληνικής γλώσσας, που δεν είναι μεγάλο σχολείο, με μεγάλα κτίρια, με δασκάλους, με διευθυντές, με όλα αυτά. Πώς...
Λοιπόν, ωραία. Εγώ κατάγομαι από το Μεσολόγγι. Έζησα μέχρι τα 18 μου χρόνια στο χωριό. Στο χωριό μου που λέγεται Κατοχή, είναι περίπου μισή ώρα με το αυτοκίνητο έξω από το Μεσολόγγι.
Μάλιστα.
Όταν έδωσα πανελλαδικές και πέρασα, μετακόμισα στην Αθήνα, στο Πανεπιστήμιο της Αθήνας. Ωραία. Αποφάσισα και ήρθα λοιπόν που λες, επειδή μεγάλωσαν τα παιδιά μου, δεν με χρειάζονταν πια.
Έτσι νόμιζες.
Και είπα και εγώ, ναι, εντάξει. Και ήθελα λίγο έτσι να έχω μια εμπειρία. Πάρα από μικρή ήθελα να ζήσω έτσι για λίγο στο εξωτερικό. Είχα κάτι ξαδέρφια που ζούσαν στη Γερμανία και ερχόντουσαν κάθε καλοκαίρι στην Ελλάδα και θυμάμαι τα ζήλευα. Ήρθε το πλήρωμα του χρόνου λοιπόν και ήρθα κι εγώ εδώ στην Ιρλανδία. Βέβαια η αλήθεια είναι ότι δεν ήταν η πρώτη μου επιλογή. Η πρώτη μου επιλογή ήταν η Ισπανία, η δεύτερη η Αγγλία και τρίτη. Και τρίτη ήταν η Ιταλία. Η Ιρλανδία δεν υπήρχε.
Στο χάρτη.
Ναι. Οι θέσεις όμως ήταν πιασμένες δυστυχώς και έτσι ήρθα εδώ. Παρ' όλα αυτά έπαθα ένα σοκ όταν ήρθα, η αλήθεια είναι. Από πολλές απόψεις. από το σχολείο, που το περίμενα διαφορετικό από ό,τι το βρήκα. Περίμενα δηλαδή, είμαστε σε μια ευρωπαϊκή, θα πήγαινα σε μια ευρωπαϊκή πρωτεύουσα, περίμενα να δω και πράγματα. Και βρήκα ένα μικρό χώρο με πλαστικές καρέκλες.
Έτσι.
Και έπαθα ένα σοκ.
Ναι.
Άλλο ένα και άλλο βρήκα. Ήτανε τότε, θυμάμαι το πρώτο το σχολείο, αν θυμάσαι, που ήταν στην εκκλησία, παράρτημα της προέκταση της εκκλησίας μας.
Έτσι.
Και φυσικά το σχολείο εδώ με το σχολείο το ελληνικό δεν έχει καμία σχέση, έτσι. Τα προβλήματα είναι πολλά. Δηλαδή, να ξεκινήσουμε από τα βιβλία, που δυστυχώς το ελληνικό κράτος δεν έχει φροντίσει να τα ανανεώσει. Είναι γραμμένα εδώ και 40-50 χρόνια. Είναι δηλαδή πάρα πολύ παλιά και εγώ καλούμαι να τα διδάξω, να τα δώσω στα παιδιά. Οι ώρες είναι λίγες φυσικά, δεν είναι, πάμε είναι τέγ, έτσι, δεν είναι κανονικό σχολείο. 2 ώρες την εβδομάδα, που σημαίνει ότι ο χρόνος είναι λίγος. Δεν προλαβαίνεις να έρθεις έτσι πολύ κοντά με τα παιδιά, να αναπτύξεις μια προσωπική σχέση, μια ζεστή σχέση, όπως ένας δάσκαλος με το μαθητή του. Μετά καλείσαι μέσα σε μια τάξη να στριμώξεις διαφορετικές ηλικίες, διαφορετικά επίπεδα ελληνικής γλώσσας. Άλλο μιλάει καλά ελληνικά γιατί ήρθε πρόσφατα από την Ελλάδα, άλλο γεννήθηκε εδώ, δεν μιλάει καθόλου. Και όλα αυτά καλείσαι να τα ξεπεράσεις και να παράγεις ένα έργο. Μεγάλη πρόκληση, πολύ μεγάλη.
Ακόμα και για έναν τόσο δυνατό χαρακτήρα σαν και σένα. Είναι μεγάλη πρόκληση, έτσι, Ξανθή. Και παρόλο που είχες και τόση εμπειρία και τόσο, αλλά παρόλα αυτά...
26 χρόνια εμπειρία και μάλιστα 26 χρόνια στο ίδιο σχολείο και σχολείο διαπολιτισμικής εκπαίδευσης. Χωρίς Έλληνες δηλαδή. Το σχολείο που που δούλεψα πριν έρθω εδώ, που δούλεψα 23 συναπτά έτη, ήταν σχολείο διαπολιτισμικής εκπαίδευσης, που σημαίνει δεν είχε Έλληνα. Δούλευα δηλαδή, να φανταστείς, την τελευταία χρονιά πριν έρθω εδώ στην τάξη μου, είχα 32 παιδιά, 18 διαφορετικές εθνικότητες.
Μάλιστα. Όπως είναι τα ιρλανδικά σχολεία, ειδικά στο Δουβλίνο σήμερα, στο Rathmines, σε ένα σχολείο, μετρήσανε 105 νομίζω εθνικότητες μέσα στο σχολείο. Σε όλο το σχολείο τώρα, δεν λέω για...
Ναι. Όχι, εγώ σου μιλάω για την τάξη μου. Σε μία τάξη, την πρώτη τάξη που είχα, την τελευταία χρονιά πριν έρθω εδώ, είχα 32 μαθητές, 18 διαφορετικές εθνικότητες.
Έτσι.
Και ο τρίτο των μαθητών δεν μιλούσαν ελληνικά. Και εκείνο ήταν μεγάλη πρόκληση. Αλλά εκεί ήμουνα στο σπίτι μου, ήμουνα με την οικογένειά μου, ήμουνα στο σχολείο, στο ίδιο σχολείο που το ήξερα. Εδώ ήταν μια ακόμα δυσκολότερη πρόκληση, σε ένα ξένο μέρος, με έναν απέσιο καιρό. Έπρεπε ταυτόχρονα να συνηθίσω πολλά πράγματα σε διαφορετικές.
Έτσι.
Συνηθίσω τον καιρό, να ψάξω να βρω, να συνηθίσω τη γλώσσα, καταρχάς. Που νόμιζα, τρομάρα μου, νόμιζα ότι ήξερα αγγλικά πριν έρθω εδώ. Και όταν άκουσα τον πρώτο Ιρλανδό, έπαθα ένα σοκ. Λέω, όπα, πάνε πολλά χρόνια, λέω, από τότε που μίλησα αγγλικά τελευταία φορά και έχω χάσει επεισόδιο.
Έτσι.
Συνηθίσω και τον καιρό, τη διαμονή, ήμουνα και μόνη μου, είχα αφήσει την οικογένεια πίσω,
αλλά παρόλα αυτά, έτσι, μπράβο, αυτό ήθελα, ναι, παρόλα αυτά.
Στην τρίτη μου χρονιά, λοιπόν, καταρχάς συνήθισα τον καιρό, να μην πω, για να μην πω ότι αρχίζει και μου αρέσει λίγο. Αλήθεια, δεν αστιεύομαι, θέλω να πω, ας πούμε, σήμερα το πρωί που ξύπνησα και είδα από το παράθυρο του δωματίου μου μια ηλιόλουστη μέρα, με το κοντομάνικο. Γενικά έπαθα ένα σοκ, γιατί έκανε τόσο πολύ κρύο, ήλιος και τόσο πολύ κρύο, και παίρνω το κινητό μου και βλέπω ότι είχε 3 βαθμούς.
Έτσι.
Και ο ήλιος όμως. Και είδα τα φυτά εδώ στον κήπο του σπιτιού απ' έξω, ότι είχαν πιάσει πάγο, Δηλαδή όλο αυτό δεν θα το ζούσα ποτέ στην Ελλάδα.
Στην Αθήνα, συγγνώμη, στην Καρδίτσα που είμαι εγώ θα το ζούσα, αλλά στην Αθήνα.
Στην Αθήνα, φυσικά, στην Αθήνα. Δεν το έχω ζήσει, τέλος πάντων.
Ναι.
Είναι κάτι πολύ όμορφο.
Okay.
Το λέω αυτό γιατί σκέφτομαι ότι σε 1-2 χρόνια θα φύγω.
Έτσι.
Σκεφτόμουν ότι θα έμενα εδώ, όχι, δεν θα το ήθελα.
Έτσι.
Είναι καλό όλη αυτή η εμπειρία είναι καλή να τη ζήσεις για 3, 4, 5 χρόνια. Μετά νομίζω ότι είναι καιρός να πας στο σπίτι σου.
Πάντως, Ξανθή, αυτό που εγώ έχω θαυμάσει σε σένα είναι ότι ήρθες, πραγματικά το έζησα μαζί σου πολύ κοντά αυτό το σοκ το οποίο περιγράφεις και το οποίο το ζουνε και οι περισσότεροι εκπαιδευτικοί όταν έρχονται. Με το Βάγιος, ας πούμε, που είχε και την οικογένειά του εδώ και είχε έρθει, είχε φτάσει διευθυντής στο σχολείο, ήταν δηλαδή πάρα πολλά χρόνια δάσκαλος και όμως την πρώτη σχολική γιορτή να καταφέρει ένας εκπαιδευτικός που πρωτοέρχεται και σε 1,5 μήνα έχουμε τις 28 Οκτωβρίου και πρέπει να στήσει γιορτή με παιδιά, να συνδυάσει παιδιά από όλα τα τμήματα για να πούν να παίξει ένα θεατρικό, να παίξουν και τα λοιπά. Θυμάμαι, κόντεψε να πάθει, φοβόμασταν τότε ότι θα πάθει κάτι από το, έσταζε υδρότα από το άγχος.
Έτσι έκανα και εγώ και συν το πρόβλημα ότι και όλο αυτό γιατί δεν υπάρχει χρόνος,
έτσι, αυτό.
Δεν υπάρχει χρόνος.
Αυτό όμως, έτσι, η δουλειά όμως που κάνετε...
Αυτή είναι και η μεγαλύτερη πρόκληση, ξέρεις.
Αυτή, έτσι, αυτό.
Και η μεγαλύτερη χαρά που παίρνεις.
Μπράβο, αυτό ήθελα να πω. Γιατί ξέρω όλοι σας, όλοι οι εκπαιδευτικοί όμως, όσοι εκπαιδευτικοί έχουν περάσει από το σχολείο μέχρι τώρα και εσύ, αισθάνεστε αυτή την φοβερή ικανοποίηση στο τέλος, γιατί τα βγάζετε πέρα με μέσα από τόσα κύματα που λέμε, με διαφορετικές απαιτήσεις. Άλλοι γονείς έχουν εμπειρία από το σχολείο, άλλοι έρχονται για πρώτη φορά, φέρνουν τα παιδιά τους για πρώτη φορά. Οι ενήλικες επίσης, διδάσκεται για πρώτη φορά ενήλικες όταν έρχεστε εδώ εκπαιδευτικοί. Έτσι. Ναι. Αλλά παίρνετε τόσο πολλά από αυτή την εμπειρία, από όλο αυτό το έργο τελικά το οποίο βλέπετε να αποδίδει, γιατί βλέπετε τα παιδιά τους ενήλικες στο τέλος να ξέρουν ελληνικά ή να ξέρουν καλύτερα ελληνικά, από πριν να δουλέψετε εσείς μαζί σας. Και νομίζω ότι παρόλες τις δυσκολίες και το σοκ, τελικά καταλήγεις αυτό που είπες, όχι μόνο να σ' αρέσει ο Ιρλανδικός καιρός, αλλά να σ' αρέσει και το έργο που έχεις προσφέρει σε αυτό το σχολείο. Έρχεσαι σε επαφή, δεν ξέρω, πες μου τώρα αν κάνω λάθος αυτό και να κλείσουμε.
Να σου πω μόνο κάτι, να μην τρώω χρόνο για τους συναδέλφους. 2 φορές συγκινήθηκα στη ζωή μου, πολύ όσο αφορά τη δουλειά μου, που έμαθα τα παιδιά να γράφουν και να διαβάζουν. Την πρώτη χρονιά που έβαλα το πόδι μου στο σχολείο, την πρώτη χρονιά, 20 χρονών τότε, πρώην των ετών, που όταν είδα τον πρώτο μου μαθητή, το επίτευγμά μου αυτό, έμαθα να γράφει και να διαβάζει, και την πρώτη φορά, πριν 3 χρόνια, όταν πρωτοήρθα εδώ, και πάλι, όταν το πρώτο μου παιδάκι που πήγαινε τότε στην πρώτη δημοτικού, έμαθε να γράφει και να διαβάζει. Όταν μου διάβασε δηλαδή την πρώτη ολοκληρωμένη πρόταση. Καλά, την πρώτη χρονιά συγκινήθηκα γιατί ήταν η πρώτη χρονιά που δούλευα σαν δασκάλα εδώ, μετά από 26 χρόνια. Ναι, αλλά να μην ξεχνάμε ότι εδώ τα παιδιά ζουν σε ένα αγγλικό περιβάλλον. Πάνε σε ένα σχολείο, ακούνε αγγλικά από παντού. Οπότε μου ήρθε εμένα ένα παιδάκι 5,5 χρονών και κατάφερα να το μάθω να διαβάσει με όλες αυτές τις δυσκολίες και τις προσωπικές και του σχολείου. Ήταν η δεύτερη φορά λοιπόν που συγκινήθηκα. Και αυτό άξιζε δηλαδή πραγματικά και τις ταλαιπωρίες και τον κόπο και τα δάκρυα.
Έτσι. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Επειδή ξέρω ότι έχεις αυτή τη φλόγα και αυτή την αγάπη για τη γλώσσα και για να τη μεταδώσεις, προσπαθείς να τη μεταδώσεις και ξέρω ότι εργάζεσαι πάρα πολύ σκληρά για να το κάνεις αυτό. Και δεν είναι μόνο αυτά, είναι και όλη η γραφειοκρατία και όλη η γραφική δουλειά που πρέπει να παράγει ένας εκπαιδευτικός όταν έρχεται εδώ, έτσι, τα ξέρω όλα αυτά.
Έτσι, ναι.
Θέλω να σε ευχαριστήσω και επίσημα και δημοσίως σε όλο τον κόσμο για την πολύ μεγάλη προσπάθεια που καταβάλεις. Και νομίζω ότι ένας από τους λόγους που μας όθησε να πάρουμε και να αρχίσουμε, ειδικά την τελευταία χρονιά, να έχουμε και άλλους εκπαιδευτικούς, είναι ακριβώς αυτό, γιατί μας έδειξες με πάρα πολύ έντονο τρόπο πόσο πολύ θέλει ένας εκπαιδευτικός να βοηθήσει τους μαθητές του να μάθουν ελληνικά, αλλά εκ των συνθήκων δεν γίνονται ορισμένα πράγματα.
Ναι.
Και νομίζω ότι αυτό μας όθησε και μας να πάρουμε ορισμένες αποφάσεις και να έχουμε αυτή τη στιγμή στο ελληνικό σχολείο άλλους 5 εκπαιδευτικούς. Είναι νομίζω πολύ μεγάλη δουλειά και πολύ μεγάλη κατάκτηση για το σχολείο μας, για την ελληνική κοινότητα Ιρλανδίας που έχουμε φτάσει σε αυτό το σημείο και σε ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ και που συνεργάζεσαι και με όλους αυτούς τους εκπαιδευτικούς και με το COVID, με τις δυσκολίες του COVID, έτσι, και με τις δυσκολίες που αντιμετωπίσαμε ιδιαίτερα φέτος και λόγω της πολύ αγαπημένης μας Βάσος. Οπότε ένα έξτρα ευχαριστώ και για τα τελευταία, Ξανθή, και για το COVID τις δυσκολίες και με τις δυσκολίες.
Και εγώ να σας ευχαριστήσω γιατί και εσείς μου συμπαρασταθήκατε όταν πρώτο ήρθα και ακόμα και πάντα είστε εκεί για κάθε τι που σας χρειάζομαι. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Ευχαριστούμε. Θα συναντήσουμε, ακούσατε τις δυσκολίες τις οποίες αντιμετωπίζει ένας εκπαιδευτικός και όχι μόνο. Όταν ένας Έλληνας έρχεται στην Ιρλανδία και φαντάζομαι και σε άλλες χώρες, αλλά τώρα εμείς μιλάμε για την Ιρλανδία, είμαστε ελληνική κοινότητα Ιρλανδίας, αντιμετωπίζει δυσκολίες από το να βρει σπίτι μέχρι το να χωρίσει, να βρει τα κατάλληλα τμήματα για να τα χωρίσει μέσα στο σχολείο. Όταν όμως έχουμε ακόμα περισσότερα Έλληνες που έρχονται πολύ πρόσφατα από την Ελλάδα και τα παιδιά όπως και οι γονείς μιλάνε μόνο ελληνικά, αντιμετωπίζουν ακόμα πιο περισσότερα προβλήματα από άποψη προσαρμοστικότητας. Ένας από τους κύριους σκοπούς της ελληνικής κοινότητας Ιρλανδίας, ο οποίος υπάρχει και στο καταστατικό μας, είναι η βοήθεια ενσωμάτωσης των Ελλήνων στην Ιρλανδική κοινωνία. Και γι' αυτό απασχολούμε και έναν εκπαιδευτικό, ο οποίος μας έχει συμπαρασταθεί όχι μόνο στην εκπαίδευση αλλά και σε πολλές άλλες δραστηριότητες στην ελληνική κοινότητα, ο οποίος διδάσκει στο ελληνικό σχολείο, διδάσκει αγγλικά για ενήλικες και ιρλανδικά για τα παιδιά. Όταν έρχεται ένας μαθητής από την Ελλάδα και είναι κάτω των 9 χρονών, είναι υποχρεωτική εκμάθηση της Ιρλανδικής γλώσσας, της κέλτικης γλώσσας. Όταν είναι άνω των 9 χρονών δεν είναι υποχρεωτική εκμάθηση. Αυτός ο άνθρωπος λοιπόν που μας βοηθάει αυτή τη στιγμή στην ελληνική κοινότητα για τα παιδιά μας καταρχήν να μάθουν καλύτερα Ιρλανδικά και να καταλάβουν αυτή τη γλώσσα, είναι ο κύριος Πάντι Σάμον, τον οποίο τον είδατε πριν, που είναι και πρόεδρος του Irish Hellenic Society. Πάντι, είσαι κολόνα. Ξεκινήσαμε τη συνεργασία μας σαν σχολείο όταν ξεκίνησες να διδάσκεις αρχαία ελληνικά στο ελληνικό σχολείο, στα παιδιά μας τότε. Επειδή θέλαμε τότε τα αρχαία ελληνικά ήταν διαφορετική γλώσσα για το Junior Certificate, έτσι, που είναι οι εξετάσεις που γίνονται στο τέλος του γυμνασίου. So you started teaching our work together, started when you started teaching ancient Greek for the Greek school. Then you start teaching. Did you teach Greek first, or did you teach? What did you teach after, Paddy? I don't remember. We're going back about 10 years. You've been working with a Greek school. Is
getting
it?
towards that now. Yeah, it's getting
yeah.
on towards a decade now. Yeah.
So why, Paddy? Why do you suffer? Why? Because you keep coming back to help us more, and there aren't a lot of people in Ireland that could help our children with their Irish, that could help our adults with Greek, and that could help our also adults, the Greeks that don't have good English or good enough English, with English. So thank you, first of all, thank you so much for doing it, and promise that you will keep doing it. So,
well, I was very lucky, Stella, in that, as you know, in Ireland, some people go to school to all Irish schools where they're educated through the Irish language, and that was my case in primary school. I had all my primary schooling through Irish, except for English and religion. And I had very, very good Irish teachers as well in secondary school. And in my second year in secondary school, as well as the normal subjects which a lot of people in Ireland would take, I started 2 further languages, German and ancient Greek. And so with that background, there are very few people, I suspect, in Ireland. There is one school, of course, in Kerry, St. Brendan's in Killarney, where people learned their ancient Greek through Irish. And I take my hat off to them. And you can see what's under my hat, very little. So, you know, there was a tradition in Ireland of learning ancient Greek through Irish. And they're both tough languages, you know. Learning Greek is you know, proverbially difficult, but learning Irish, to my mind, is 10 times more proverbially difficult. It's a very, very difficult language. So, you know, when Greek people come here, they learn what it's like for foreigners to learn Greek, if they want to learn Irish, that is.
Yeah. Yes, no, but it is, the Irish language though is lovely, and we have a lot of common expressions in folklore and in our songs.
There are huge cultural connections between Greece and Ireland.
Yes.
Even though we're at the far ends of Europe, the cultural connections are immense. And the expressions, the way of thinking, and that's what brings Irish people, I think, close to Greek people.
Yes, and the Hibernian, I mean, the other thing that we try to do, you've been talking about that for a few years now, but Elise Woularis has started doing it on Facebook to produce this tourist guide, per se, in Greek about everything with a Greek connection in Ireland, or including Greek-style buildings. And so I think it's a good idea, and it will help Greek people integrate even better mentally and psychologically. Anyway, it did it for me, so maybe other people will feel the same. But so thank you, Paddy. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for all the hard work you're putting in, and I know we have witnesses that you help Greek adults learn English. You help them increase their job prospects. You help them learn how to express themselves better, and from their CV to, you know, anything to do with their work environment. And it's very highly appreciated, the work you are doing for the Hellenic community. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Stella. Much appreciated.
So one of the other challenges we faced and we face in the Hellenic community is when the Greek children come to Ireland and they have the Greek language. If they come, let's say, and they're 15 years old, they are fluent in Greek. If they come from Greece or Cyprus, they've been to school there. And then they come here and they have to choose a language for their exams into university. And one of the languages that they can choose is Greek. But up to now, we didn't have, up to 5 years ago, I think, or is it 6, we didn't have, we couldn't help those students. So we couldn't, we were offering the Greek courses, how to learn the Greek language, but the preparation was according to the Greek Ministry of Education, which leads you to the exams by the Greek Ministry of Education. What we were not offering was preparation for the Irish Leaving Cert. So we decided back then, because we had sent us Vaso, and during an interview we realized what a good teacher Vaso was, and we decided to start classes for the Leaving Certificate. Right now we have Elisabeth that has taken over that huge challenge and we're very lucky to have you, Elisabeth. Thank you very much. Elisabeth, καλησπέρα, καλώς όρισες. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ που δέχτηκες υπό δύσκολες συνθήκες να αναλάβεις αυτό το κατόρθωμα, αλλά επειδή ξέρω πόσο σκληρά δουλεύεις κι εσύ, ήδη έχεις φέρει καλά αποτελέσματα. Έχουμε λάβει πολλές θετικές απαντήσεις για τη δουλειά που κάνεις, οπότε συγχαρητήρια.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Πες μας, Ελισάβετ, από την αρχή με το που ήρθες στην Ιρλανδία ξεκίνησες να προσφέρεις τις υπηρεσίες σου εθελοντικά στην ελληνική κοινότητα. Από πού είσαι, Ελισάβετ, στην Ελλάδα?
Εγώ είμαι γεννημένη, μεγαλωμένη στην Αθήνα.
Okay.
Η καταγωγή μου βέβαια είναι από τη Μάνη.
Α, Μανιάτισσα. Μάλιστα.
Ναι.
Να προσέχουμε.
Αυτό με προσδιορίζει.
Να προσέχουμε.
Είμαι εδώ στην Ιρλανδία 3 χρόνια. Ο άντρας μου είναι ήδη 4,5 χρόνια. Και προσπαθώ όσο μπορώ και εγώ να βοηθήσω και την κοινότητα. Και επειδή έχω 2 μικρά παιδιά, δεν μου είναι και εύκολο από θέμα χρόνου, ό,τι μπορώ όμως προσπαθώ να προσφέρω.
Και ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Πώς είναι, Ελισάβετ, είναι μεγάλη αυτή η προσφορά, είναι σημαντικό. Για μας τουλάχιστον είναι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό που έχουμε ξεκινήσει αυτή τη δραστηριότητα και που μπορούν αυτά τα παιδιά, δίνουμε την ευκαιρία σε αυτά τα παιδιά να δώσουν εξετάσεις για το Leaving Cert, έτσι, στα ελληνικά. Είναι πολύ σημαντικό, δεν είναι?
Βέβαια, γιατί θέλει δουλειά.
Ναι. Ακόμα και για αυτούς που μιλάνε πολύ καλά ελληνικά θέλει δουλειά, έτσι.
Γλωσσομάθειας και θέλει δουλειά.
Ακόμα και για αυτούς που μιλάνε πολύ καλά ελληνικά και έρχονται από την Ελλάδα θέλει δουλειά. Είναι διαφορετικές εξετάσεις.
Ναι, βεβαίως. Και το επίπεδο των που ζητούν εδώ πέρα στις εξετάσεις είναι επίπεδο, θα μπορούσα να πω, και πανελληνίων. Δηλαδή, είναι κείμενα πανελληνίων. Τα παιδιά πρέπει να ανταποκριθούν στην κατανόηση του κειμένου αυτού και να πράγουν αντίστοιχο λόγο.
Έτσι.
Πρέπει να γράψουν μία έκθεση σε επίπεδο Γ2. Αυτό σημαίνει άριστη γνώση της γλώσσας.
Υπάρχει μία θεωρία η οποία λέει ότι άλλες γλώσσες, δηλαδή γαλλικά, γερμανικά κτλ. Είναι πιο εύκολες στις εισαγωγικές εξετάσεις εδώ για το πανεπιστήμια. Ισχύει αυτό, Ελισάβετ? Νομίζεις, έχεις γνώμη γι' αυτό? Το έχεις ακούσει?
Δεν έχω γνώμη, αλλά νομίζω ότι είναι στο επίπεδο Β2. Αυτό σημαίνει απλά καλή γνώση, ανεξάρτητος χρήστης της γλώσσας. Ελληνικά είναι στο άριστο επίπεδο.
Μάλιστα.
Είναι Γ2.
Έχει και τα θετικά, έχει και τα αρνητικά αυτό, ναι.
Ναι. Και τα παιδιά βεβαίως πρέπει όταν δεν έχουν επαφή με το ελληνικό σχολείο, δεν είναι εύκολο μετά να επανακάμψουν στα ελληνικά τους.
Έτσι.
Γιατί θέλουμε πολύ καλό επίσημο γραπτό λόγο.
Ναι. Okay. Οπότε εσύ, από ό,τι ξέρω, η πρότασή σου για τους γονείς είναι μην αφήνετε τη γλώσσα σε καμία φάση της ζωής των παιδιών, έτσι, και να πρωτοέρθουν και να
τα... φάση, γιατί αν αφήσουμε την πρώτη γλώσσα, που στην προκειμένη περίπτωση είναι η ελληνική, γιατί εδώ πέρα η ελληνική γλώσσα είναι μειονοτική γλώσσα, δηλαδή τη χρησιμοποιούμε μόνο εμείς στο σπίτι κυρίως, αυτό δεν βοηθάει καθόλου τα παιδιά μας και στην πλειονοτική που είναι τα αγγλικά. Δηλαδή, αν βοηθήσουμε τα παιδιά μας στην ελληνική, εξελίξουμε την ελληνική γλώσσα, αυτό θα τους βοηθήσει πολύ περισσότερο και στα αγγλικά. Θα δούμε δηλαδή ότι τα παιδιά θα μπορέσουν να προχωρήσουν πολύ πιο εύκολα στο αγγλικό σχολείο. Γιατί γίνεται η σύνδεση των ενιών. Καταλαβαίνουν καλύτερα τα παιδιά.
Μάλιστα. Οπότε η συμβουλή αυτή που πάντα δίνουν όλοι οι εκπαιδευτικοί είναι μην φοβάστε ότι τα παιδιά σας δεν θα μάθουν την αγγλική γλώσσα όταν έρχονται από Ελλάδα. Συνεχίστε με την ελληνική και τα βοηθάτε τα παιδιά σας και με την αγγλική. Έτσι. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ, Ελισάβετ. Νομίζω ότι αυτή είναι η πιο σημαντική συμβουλή.
Ναι, και εγώ νομίζω, βλέποντας, και να ευχαριστήσω και εγώ πολύ και τους προλαλήσαντες εκπαιδευτικούς, διότι γνωρίζω και τη δουλειά που κάνουν, και ως μητέρα που έχω παιδί στο σχολείο, τους ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ για την πολύ καλή και την πολλή δουλειά που κάνουν.
Έτσι. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, Ελισάβετ. Ακόμα μια φορά. Έχει συμμετάσχει και σε διάφορα άλλα project η Ελισάβετ και πάντα είναι πρόθυμη να μας βοηθήσει. Η τελευταία μας εκπαιδευτικός, έχουμε βέβαια να πούμε ότι έχουμε και χωριστεί από πέρυσι και νηπιαγωγό που ασχολείται μόνο με τα νήπια, αλλά και να πούμε ότι έχουμε και ειδική δασκάλα που επίσης διδάσκει παιδιά τα οποία η πρώτη τους γλώσσα δεν είναι ελληνική, δηλαδή είναι παιδιά που δεν πήγαν σε ελληνικό σχολείο στην Ελλάδα και η πρώτη τους γλώσσα είναι αγγλική. Έτσι, τα χωρίσαμε αυτά τα τμήματα και τώρα έχουμε και άλλη δασκάλα, η οποία όμως είχε εξετάσει σήμερα και δεν μπορεί να μας μιλήσει, αλλά θα έχουμε μαζί μας την Αναστασία που είναι, μόλις ήρθε από Γαλλία, νομίζω ήρθες, Αναστασία, έτσι δεν είναι?
Ναι.
Έτσι, και έχει όμως δουλέψει σε πολλές χώρες διδάσκοντας και ελληνικά, ανάμεσα από τις άλλες γλώσσες που διδάσκει, και τώρα διδάσκει ελληνικά στους ενήλικες του ελληνικού σχολείου. Ευχαριστούμε, Αναστασία, καλώς όρισες και γεννήθηκες, δεν θυμάμαι που γεννήθηκες, από τις πολλές τις χώρες.
Δεν πειράζει. Καλησπέρα καταρχήν. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ για την συμμετοχή. Να πω και εγώ από την πλευρά μου ότι έχετε κάνει εξαιρετική δουλειά. Πάρα πολύ ωραία η διοργάνωσή σας. Πάρα πολλά συγχαρητήρια. Λόγω COVID δεν είχα γνωρίσει και τους προηγούμενους συναδέλφους, οπότε ήταν μια ευκαιρία, εκτός από τον Πάντη, να τους γνωρίσω. Πρέπει να έχουν κάνει καταπληκτική δουλειά. Γεννήθηκα στην Αθήνα. Έχω ζήσει σε διάφορες χώρες, Ισπανία, Γαλλία έρχομαι. Έχω δουλέψει τα νέα ελληνικά σε όχι Έλληνες. Είναι ένα κομμάτι που πάντα μου άρεσε και το έχω ασχοληθεί από τότε που έχω φύγει από την Ελλάδα. Από το 12 δηλαδή ασχολούμαι. Και είναι με μεγάλη μου χαρά εδώ και κάποιους μήνες που είμαι στο σχολείο σας και δουλεύω με τους ενήλικες στο τμήμα το προχωρημένο.
Το προχωρημένο. Έτσι, ναι. Έτσι. Είμαστε τυχεροί που συναντήσαμε και εσένα αλλά και τους άλλους εκπαιδευτικούς, οι οποίοι μπορούν και καταρχήν συνεννοείστε μεταξύ σας για το καλό των μαθητών. Έτσι. Ο Πάντη που είχε αυτό το τμήμα λέει, παιδιά, δεν γίνεται, πρέπει να είναι Έλληνας ο εκπαιδευτικός από εδώ και πέρα, ειδικά σε αυτά τα επίπεδα. Είναι φοβερή αυτή η συνεργασία που υπάρχει ανάμεσα στους εκπαιδευτικούς. Συγχαρητήρια και σε σένα για την προσπάθεια.
Να είστε καλά, να είστε καλά.
Και για το...
Να είστε καλά και για εσάς και ο κύριος και ο Πάντη έχει κάνει φοβερή δουλειά, φαίνεται στο τμήμα, επειδή το συνεχίζουμε τώρα μαζί και προσπαθούμε για το καλύτερο προκειμένου να μπορέσουμε να μεταλαμβαδεύσουμε τα νέα ελληνικά με έναν διαφορετικό τρόπο στους ενήλικες, γιατί πραγματικά είναι ο τρόπος τελείως διαφορετικός, η προσέγγιση και το ενδιαφέρον.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Thank you very much, Anastasia. Anastasia,
thank you
the
so
same
much.
as Paddy, teaches modern Greek in the evenings in the Greek school that the Hellenic Community of Ireland runs. So I think we got a good taste of the Greek school. And just to say in English that we also employ 2 more teachers that they couldn't be with us today. And the teachers are specializing in teaching Greek to English speaking children. And the one and the other one is also teaching Greek to preschool children, so younger children. So, and we are very lucky to have all those good teachers with us and work very, very hard. So we are moving to Sophia. Are you in Kefalonia or in Athens? Where are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. Are you in Athens? Ναι, είσαι στην Αθήνα, Σοφία. Καλησπέρα.
Good evening. I want to say good evening to everyone. Say that I'm honored and so happy to see all this effort, all this excellent work, and to meet all these excellent people.
Thank you, Sophia.
I'm at least touched. At least touched.
Yes, thank you, Sophia. So Sophia runs the Ionian Center for Culture and Arts in Kefalonia, in the island of Kefalonia, just outside Argostoli, Metaxata. So isn't it Metaxata?
Yes,
it is Metaxata. I remember correctly. And we're going to watch a small video, I think, that we have from the center, and then Σοφία, την πρώτη φορά που μιλήσαμε ήμουνα στην Αθήνα και έτυχε που έλεγα για το φεστιβάλ στον καλλιτεχνικό μας διευθυντή φέτος, τον Χρήστο τον Δημουλά, ο οποίος μου λέει δεν το πιστεύω, κάποιο κάρμα έχει γίνει τώρα, γιατί πριν να... πήρες εκείνη τη στιγμή εσύ τηλέφωνο και συζητάγατε για αυτό το project, για αυτό που έκανε. Είχες καλέσει το Χρήστο να είναι συνεργάτης του Ιόνιου Κέντρου και είπες να συμμετέχουμε και εμείς στο φεστιβάλ, εφόσον έχει να κάνει με κουλτούρα και έχουμε εμείς τον Άπιερ που είναι Ιρλανδός στην Κεφαλονιά, δεν θα συμμετέχουμε στο φεστιβάλ και έστειλες το Χρήστο στο τρίτο φεστιβάλ που κάναμε και έτσι ξεκίνησε αυτή η συνεργασία μαζί μας. Και τώρα, την τελευταία φορά που μιλήσαμε, λες, Στέλλα, σας καλώ το σχολείο σας να έρθει στην Κεφαλονιά, να κάνουμε μαζί πράγματα. Πες μας, βρε Σοφία, ακριβώς πώς ξεκίνησες αυτό το κέντρο? Ξέρω ότι ζούσες στην Αυστραλία και ότι αγαπάς, καταλαβαίνεις πάρα πολύ τι μεγάλη προσπάθεια καταβάλουν οι Έλληνες του εξωτερικού για να κρατήσουν τη γλώσσα, τον πολιτισμό κτλ. Πώς επέστρεψες στην Ελλάδα και αποφάσισες να κάνεις αυτό το κέντρο? Τι έγινε?
Θεωρώ ότι είμαι από τους τυχερούς ανθρώπους που είχαν την ευκαιρία να γνωρίσουν δύο εξαιρετικές πατρίδες. Για μένα η μία ήταν η Αυστραλία και η δεύτερη η Ελλάδα. Με ίση αγάπη για τις δύο. Στην Αυστραλία λοιπόν είχα την ευκαιρία, σαν πολύ νέος άνθρωπος που πήγα 16 χρονών, να γνωρίσω ένα σύστημα πολυπολιτισμικό που σεβόταν τους πάντες. Οι Έλληνες της Αυστραλίας έχεραν τέτοιας αγάπης από την κυβέρνηση, από οτιδήποτε είχε να κάνει με την οργάνωση του κράτους. Είχαν τέτοια βοήθεια και όχι μόνο οι Έλληνες και όλα τα κράτη που έστελναν μετανάστες. Αποτέλεσμα λοιπόν μου έγινε ένα πολύ μεγάλο μάθημα εκεί που πήγα, ότι μπορούμε να ζούμε όλοι με αγάπη και με σεβασμό και με συνεργασία με όλους. Έβλεπα όμως παράλληλα ότι οι Έλληνες του εξωτερικού, ειδικά της Αυστραλίας, αλλά όχι μόνο, το γνώρισα αυτό μετά και στην Αμερική και σε άλλες χώρες, ειδικά στις υπερατλαντικές χώρες, ότι οι Έλληνες που ζούσαν εκεί είχαν πάντοτε να αντιμετωπίσουν ένα μεγάλο πρόβλημα. Το πρόβλημα του να διατηρήσουν την ελληνικότητά τους, την οποία βεβαίως στην καρδιά τους την είχαν, αλλά δεν μπορούσαν να ακουμπήσουν το βάθος του ελληνικού πολιτισμού, διότι οι συνθήκες δεν βοηθούσαν.
Να τα μεταφράσω λίγο στα αγγλικά, έτσι πολύ περιληπτικά. Σοφία,
μήπως θέλεις να μιλήσω στα αγγλικά?
Καλά, τώρα τα είπες, οπότε θα να το πω εγώ λίγο στα αγγλικά περιληπτικά και συνεχίζουμε. Sophia was just saying that she was very lucky in her life because when she was 16 she moved to Australia, and since she spent quite a few years in Australia and she traveled all around the world since, she now lives in Greece, but she felt she's been very lucky in her life because she has two countries, Greece and Australia, and she loves them both the same. And what her experience in Australia was that the Greeks there were very well respected by the local government and officials, etc. And she loved that the name, she was Greek, and the name Greek had a very positive ways, if you want. So she realized, though, that after all those travels, that the Greeks wanted to maintain their identity, their culture, but there are a lot of difficult circumstances, and sometimes they start losing that identity just because life is like that. So she decided to do something with the center. So go ahead, Sophia.
So when I came back to Greece, the first thing that shocked me was that loving Greece during all my absence, when I came back, I felt that I had not the spirit of the Greek country, of the Greek civilization. And I started contacting the roots of the Greek civilization in very deep level, if possible. So I started studying, I started doing a lot of work, spiritual work, and trying to have as much as teachers possible in my schools, and along with everyone coming in my way, I was trying to find the meaning of the Greek civilization. Of course, I was working as artist since when I was 24 years old. And through all this path of art, I had the opportunity to meet the Greek civilization in a certain level. And I was also lucky enough to be able to live from my job as artist. This gave me different opportunities and different ways So I was thinking how we can connect the Greek civilization with what was left out of the Greek borders. I tried to be short in this. It was my thought every day and every night that we must find a way to connect the millions of Greeks out of Greece with Greece, if possible. I did a lot of work with the embassies, with the consulates around the world. But anyway, it was a small thing. But when I was able to do it, I decided that we can, not just alone with the help of so many people, to establish an institution able to attract people from all over the globe. In the beginning, it was my focus on Greeks around the globe, but the things were so good that instead of having only Greeks, we have people from all over the globe. And this is even more hopeful because we have academics. It was from the very first of the center that attracted people from universities, starting from Roy Ascott, who started the program 2011.
And sorry, Sophia, to cut you short there, but we have to move a little bit faster. But I wanted to ask you, so you work with universities, you work with institutions, I know you work very closely with the local town hall, with the mayors, with every possible person and institution. You open your big hug and you include everybody. You want everybody to experience the Greek culture, the Greek spirit, the true. Greek. I felt it. I don't know, but you do it in which way? You do seminars, is it? You run seminars and exhibitions, and is it what you do? That's what you do, and you invite people there, and they stay. The institution actually has beds, and people can stay and do summer schools, and is it what you do?
It's not only that. The basis of this is the connections with people. One of them is Mr. Christos Dimoulas.
Yes. But he represented the center.
Eternal, love and respect.
Yes.
For many reasons, because I know him and he helped me in my life and with my kids' studies since 20 years ago. So, many other people came through the work. We didn't invite people, they were coming, but we were very honest with them, giving them the proper path to work.
Right, but what do you do is, sorry Sophia, sorry to interrupt you now, but what you do is you run all those exhibitions, seminars, you do different projects, and people bring in money when they can. If they can't, again, they're very welcome. I know that for a fact. And you try to develop all those projects that encourage spirituality and the Greek spirit.
Not only the Greek spirit. Now we are living in a fast-moving world.
Okay.
And we see so many things, good and bad, to happen around the globe. So we don't have any more the right just to see our little community or the Greek state. We have global focus. We see the immigrants. We see the sacrifices. We see the destruction of countries like Syria, for example, not only. So we see so many things running around the globe, now the COVID. So we don't have the right to ignore all these important and fatal, in a way, things. Okay. So we are inviting people to see in depth the value of life, education, and human thinking. Not to be like people not thinking and not having any interest for anything happening on this globe. So we're inviting people, opening to them doors, giving grants, giving our love, our small knowledge, whatever we have to offer is for them. For example, today I was so touched seeing you work in Ireland, so you're all invited to come in Kefalonia.
Tina,
yes,
are you
you're
listening?
all invited.
Okay, there. That's
And
it.
you'll be welcome.
Sophia, we're going to leave it at that. We promise with Tina that we will
Good.
visit you in Kefalonia.
Good.
Thank you, Sophia.
Also-
Thank you so much for
Also,
joining us.
Kefalonia feels these outcomes from the people coming there, and we have all the doors open. I mean, the municipality and the authorities are opening everything to the people coming for the programs.
Especially from Ireland because of Napier. I keep that.
Yes, of course, of course, of course.
Sophia, I have to stop. I have to cut the interview here. We'll chat more. Tina, you heard. So thank you so much, Sophia.
Please keep the invitation.
We will.
For all. For all.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Sophia. Goodbye. Thank you for your membership and your support. Thank you. So we're going back to Tina, who is going to talk to. Who are you talking to now?
You're going back to me because finally we've got an Irish name that I can pronounce. Apologies to anyone out there whose name I have not pronounced properly. You will have to forgive me. But I do know how to pronounce Emily McGee's name. She's from Lemon Peel Health in County Louth, and we're going to show you a video.
Hello, I'm Emily McGee from Lemon Peels Health. I'm a fussy eater turned health and nutrition coach, and I help people fix their long-term health issues, primarily gut health related issues or blood sugar related issues. My focus is pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes because my family has a history of these diagnoses. And to say a little bit about diabetes, right now it is a lifelong diagnosis, but it is a lifestyle created diagnosis. And what I have learned and what I have seen is that progression can be halted and even reversed when you do the right things for you. How I work is I work with people through natural means to change their food related habits and life related habits. So this is a process that takes time. So when you work with me, you work over the period of a few months. I'm your buddy, I'm your coach. I hold you accountable to the changes we need to make to see the necessary results. And I'm a big fan of natural remedies used by our ancestors. So I use ferments and castor oil packs and bone broths as part of my protocols. So I hope you're interested. I hope to get in touch with you, answer any questions, and look forward to working with you.
It's my center of operations, as I call it. This is where I ferment things. So I have a great collection of jars and glass bottles. Here I'm fermenting milk. So this is milk kefir. This is a milk kefir I'm preparing for somebody to send to somebody. And this is my water kefir. So I have the other grains and they're fermenting water. Can you see all the bubbles? It's fermenting sugar water. And once I've fermented the sugar water, I make my fizzy drinks. I then flavor them by putting, well, usually I do pear and blueberries because the children love the taste. And what it does is it makes it a nice fizzy drink, so it's great for getting people off fizzy drinks. And it amplifies the nutrients that are in the things you put in. So I've put blueberries and pears, so it's increased its antioxidant capabilities. Let me pop one for you, just see what it does, so you can see the fizz. No, but a bit pathetic. Let's see this. No. Usually I can get an explosion. You might have seen some videos on Facebook. Hang on. What, can you see this rising? Yeah, and all the bubbles. Delicious. And sweet. What else do I ferment? I ferment cabbage. I do carrot sticks and garlic, and I like using natural substances to help improve the health. So for me, these are key. These will get the probiotics. These are the natural probiotics. That's how you're going to get the good guys into your gut. And then obviously you'll eat well to keep them going. But this is how I get them in, and you need to keep them coming in frequently.
Hello, Emily. How are you? we got the fizz. We got the fizz on the third one. Actually, I was saying to Stella, what is the Greek connection? She's not Greek. She said, yes, she is. Where are you from?
I'm actually half Greek, half English.
Oh,
my mum is English and my father is Greek.
Oh, so
my connection's a bit.
Exactly the same as myself.
Yes, yes, exactly the same. Yes, only I grew up in Greece. My name is Iliopoulos.
Okay.
Actually, but I left McGee for you.
Well, I grew up in Ireland from day one. That's why I'm having such difficulty with all these Greek names. I keep trying to cut them into segments to try and pronounce them properly. But tell me something. How did you end up in County Louth?
Well, I came to Dublin in 2008. There was a job. I was working in Greece in the heat, and I got very hot. And there was a job offer in Dublin, so I came to Dublin, had a great time. A year later, I met my husband, who's from Northern Ireland. And once baby number 2 came along, we wanted to move closer to his family because my family was too far. So Louth was perfect.
Oh, for babysitting.
And easier journeys up and down.
Yes, absolutely. So how did you get into the food industry? Was that what you were in Greece?
No, I actually worked in tourism and then online marketing, but I stopped working with the babies. And being a fussy eater, my poor mother all those years, I realized I didn't know how to feed the children. So I started thinking about nutrition. But we decided with my husband that this is the way to go when he has an autoimmune condition, and which involves the intestine, it's ulcerative colitis. And his doctor, when I said, right, is it the onions? Is it something else? What should I cook? And I was told that it has nothing to do with the food. But from reading and learning more and going to a nutritionist, we were able to fix things. And he is 5 years off medications. He's perfectly fine. He's great. And all it was a matter of changing his diet, changing lifestyle. We did a few little things here and there. We've got a new way of eating and living, and it's great. And we don't need medication or anything. So it was like, okay, this is the future. So I went back to school, and yes, now I think the pandemic has made me come out of my shell a bit, because I was a bit doing small steps with the small children. But then with the pandemic, I thought, we've got to get out there. There need to be more people talking about healthy diets and just eating healthy, not just eating healthy to be well, so that we can cope with any virus that comes along.
Yes, because I do know from personal experience, as well as a lot of other people, that this pandemic has been very naughty for us who like to sit on the settee and eat lots of chocolate. So, I mean, really, this is a time for you to get going, because we're going to come out of this shortly, and we all need a complete makeover. So,
Yes.
to think about starting to exercise, eat more healthily, this is all very, very important.
Yes, very relevant and very important, like you say. And it's not because people aren't trying to be healthy. It's because they don't know how to be healthy. There is so much messaging out there. There's go this way, go that way, eat this, don't eat that. This is bad, the other thing is bad. It's so confusing.
But
and yeah.
Sorry, but in your particular case, you showed us you are fermenting different things. Now, when people come to speak to you, do you tell them how to go off and ferment all this stuff, or you actually supply it?
I supply to a few people locally that know what I'm doing. Otherwise, I have an online WhatsApp group, and we meet occasionally and we ferment things together. Or when I tell them I'm going to buy beetroot this week. Let's ferment beetroot. So
and you can ferment anything, can you? Any type of food.
You can ferment anything. There's a lady in near Belfast, Delvler Reynolds. I think she could ferment. She ferments flowers. She could ferment leaves. She's the next level. I do the easier things, accessible.
So, what exactly are you trying to promote here? I mean, yes, health and well-being, but then how could people? What kind of people would get in touch with you normally for health, for help?
Mainly, I work with gut-related issues and then blood sugar balancing issues. So somebody maybe that's been warned by the doctor, they've had some blood tests and they've been told, be careful, you might be getting diabetes. And that person will be told, eat less and exercise more, which isn't the answer. And then they might be told, come back in 6 months for tests. The doctor can't do anything else at that stage because your bloods don't say that you need the meds, but the doctor can see that you're heading that way.
Okay.
So they'll say, come back in 6 months instead of, oh, come back in 2 years. In 6 months, they'll test it. It might be further on. They'll say, be careful. You're not following my instructions. Maybe, at the next time, you're going to need the meds. It's right now, going towards diabetes seems to be a one-way street unless you can stop it. It takes 10 to 20 years before you're diagnosed. It's not, you're not diabetic today and tomorrow you are. It can take 10 to 20 years. In my opinion, we should all eat like a diabetic, but we have the luxury of choosing to eat healthy, like a diabetic, low sugar, whole foods. And then, occasionally we can be naughty and do something else. A diabetic has to eat a certain way.
Yes.
For life. And then somebody with gut health, for example, you can have irritable bowel syndrome. And I've worked with people with irritable bowel syndrome or bloating. They have to eat a certain way to be well. And if they're well, they're happier, they're better. It's not a life sentence. It's listening to your body, and what you feel good with, you keep it.
Yes.
Because if you don't feel good, then it's just medication.
Yes.
It's about taking a bit more control over your health by doing something every day, because it's something you've either done or something you're exposed to that is causing the malfunction.
So it's really taking control before the problem manifests
taking control
itself.
Before the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, that. If something's niggling, something's there, you've got to listen. I mean, you're lucky because you're getting the signal that something's not right.
Yes. Yes.
So it's, what are we going to do about it? Because I don't know if enough people know that you can do something about it. And what I do as a health coach is I work with them. We try things. We work out. Does it work? Are we seeing improvements? And you've got somebody accountable with you.
Yes. And at the moment, are you doing this? Can you do this online? Can people contact you? Because obviously they can't go to see you.
Yes, I do it all online. And in fact, my plan is to keep it online because I'm hoping to work
from home
worldwide. Because of children, and because I want to be in Greece and I want to be here. So it's all online. It involves talking, discussing symptoms. It's not as if I can test anybody or things like that. It's talking and discovering what's going on for each person and what do we need to do.
So how would people get in touch with you, Emily?
Well, my site is lemonpeels.ie.
Yes.
I'm a big lemon fan. So my site is lemonpeels.ie. And but the more up-to-date things is that I'm on Facebook probably, and it will be Lemon Peels Health.
Oh, fine. Well, yes, Emily, it was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much. And good luck with the business.
Pleasure for me too. Thank you.
Right, next we have a video. We're going to talk to Sean McTaggart from Enterprise Development. He's an Enterprise Development Officer from Dublin Inner City Enterprise.
Hi, I'm Shane Meehan and I'm the Enterprise Development Manager here in Inner City Enterprise, or ICE. ICE is a charity and not-for-profit and NGO based in inner city Dublin. We work with unemployed people and help them to try and start their own businesses. We originally started in the 1990s, but we relaunched in 2012, and since then we have helped 2,000 clients and established over 1,000 new businesses. We also work with DCC and the local enterprise office, and we run and administer the Dublin City Social Enterprise Awards. Over 5 years, we've built a network of over 80 social enterprises, and we have awarded 25 social enterprise awards in funding. Last year, we set up the Young Entrepreneurs Training Programme in partnership with the local enterprise office again and Youth Business International, a global network of organisations. And we trained over 100 young people in entrepreneurial training skills, in personal development and in business skills.
Hello Sean, how are you? I'm having problems.
So sorry,
hearing.
Tina.
Oh,
my microphone was muted there. How are you? Thank you very much.
No problem at all. Thanks a million for joining us, Sean.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this event. It's been very interesting for me. It's great to be here. So thank you very much.
Not at all. You will have seen how many people have come from Greece to Ireland to start up their own business. You know, many young people left Greece. They didn't want to go to the UK because of Brexit. So they wanted to come somewhere English speaking. So they ended up in Ireland. And I must say, most of the people I have spoken to have got help to start up their own businesses. And they are very, very impressed with the amount of help that they've received here in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we just heard from Emily, brilliant little business there, going through fermentation. We had Constantina, I believe, and her husband, jewelry business and business in arts. You know, self-employment is an excellent opportunity for anybody. You create your own wealth. You chase a dream. You work in an environment where you have the knowledge and skills that nobody else can deliver. They say that, I suppose, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. And that really did actually come forth in especially Emily's little chat there previously.
Yeah. You know? It's so true. If you've got a job you love, it's just, I used to look forward to going to work every day because I really enjoyed it. Mind you, I love retirement even better.
Well, you know, when you're self-employed, Tina, you know, you make your millions in the first 10 years and then you can retire early, you know?
Yeah, right. Now, how do you reckon all these people who have started their businesses can progress post-COVID? I mean, you know, going forward, it's a hell of a leap to take to start your own business, especially with a foreign language. I mean, coming to a different country, not being sure of, you know, how you're going to proceed, and then finding, yes, they've been very lucky in getting very good help from the likes of yourselves, but, you know, to take that initial step and then to be hit by COVID and going forward now, how do you foresee things going?
Yes, it's difficult. You know, we are currently working with a number of organizations who have been through us for some support. We are currently doing COVID outreach calls, just to add additional support, I suppose, to anybody who has been through our services. You will find a lot of businesses will need to diversify, pivot essentially their offerings. It is definitely a changing world out there. COVID, the pandemic has really, I suppose, shown that, you need to have certain strategic methods in place in order to, overcome these difficult times, and I suppose that's where we come in. Essentially, inner city enterprise can offer workshops, the likes of those one-to-one mentoring sessions, and that additional support that the people are really looking for in these kind of desperate times, I suppose.
Yes, as you say, diversifying is the way to go. But I know from my own experience going with my daughter when she was opening up her bakery, she went in with great ideas of, yes, she was going to open a cafe. And the lady said, in the Wicklow enterprise said, well, are you going to be front of house or cooking? And she said, oh, well, I want to be both. She said, no, I tell you what you want. You want to be supplying restaurants. And how right she was. We had never thought of that. And that was definitely the way, because, pressure wouldn't have been one of Susie's greatest assets. And I think this, without going to Wicklow Enterprise, we never would have thought of just being a supplier rather than, opening and having all the overheads that goes with that. Sean, do you think opening up a business in the inner city is a good idea?
Look, I think opening a business in general is something that I definitely promote. I suppose I wouldn't be working in enterprise if I didn't feel it was a good idea. Now, the thing is, I suppose, Tina, for anybody looking to, develop a business, you have to see, just like your daughter, whether or not that idea is going to be viable. So to talk to someone who is in that environment, such as the Wicklow, local development office, or even ourselves within the inner city, to have those conversations with enterprise development officers, to go through a business plan, to look at the financials, to look at the marketing. Emily just said that she was on, Emily from the fermenting business just mentioned that she was on social media, to look at those different marketing strategies and to really drill down and say, right, what is the best route for me and my business, So yes, opening a business anytime is an excellent opportunity to create your own wealth, create your own, employment, and really do something that you've really passionate about,
Yes, and anyone is welcome to come in.
Oh, yes.
Well, when COVID is over. But how would they contact you, say, now at the moment?
So currently we are doing everything from home. So like yourselves, we're doing Zoom sessions on a daily basis. So we are reachable on info@innercityenterprise.com. Our number is 01 617 48 52. It's a very small team. Tina, we have 3 in the office. So if you're making that call, you'll probably most likely get through to myself and we can have a discussion. We tend to have about a half an hour, 45-minute discussion, really just to see where you are with your business and what supports, I suppose, we can offer you. Just for a bit of an idea, there are grants available right now, government grants. You can avail of PUP, which is pandemic unemployment payments for the self-employed. There are other schemes available, such as the Back to Work Enterprise Allowance as well, which will give you 2 years of benefits and $2,500 of a startup cost as well. So those are the little things that we can kind of discuss with you. If you are looking to set up your own business, we can help you develop a business plan and everything like that. So yes, that's I suppose what we can do if you can make that phone call.
That's brilliant, Sean. Thank you so much. That's been very informative, and I'm sure a lot of people watching will be, it'll give them the incentive to get in touch with you. So thanks for your help.
Thank you, and I wish your daughter the best for their business as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tina. All the best.
Bye-bye, Sean. Bye-bye. Now we go to a video, only a video from Nikos Papadopoulos, El Greco in County Clare. They're an organic food importer.
Hello everybody, my name is Nikos Papadopoulos. I come originally from Thessaloniki, northern Greece. I came in Ireland in 2007, and since 2013 I run and own El Greco. The El Greco project is the conclusion of a personal process, and it incorporates my love for the land, the natural products, the Greek traditional food where I come from. As a person, I love to eat, of course, cook natural, wholesome food. And these were the guidelines that pushed me forward to go out and find the producers that adhere to these values, and products like olive oil, honey, tahini, that they are representative of the Greek culture of food. I was very lucky to find these people. I'm very happy to work with them and being able to introduce their work to the Irish people. The first and most basic product, of course, is the olive oil. This olive oil comes from the island of Lesbos. It has all the characteristics of the Lesbos Island olive oils, which is light and sweet in flavor, quite very friendly for the user, and it has this characteristic golden yellow color. This specific olive oil, it's of course extra virgin and organic. It's multiple times awarded in contests all over the world. The producer is Mr. Michalis Georgis, a native of the island of Lesbos. He's the third generation of producers. The immediate relative to olive oil, and of course a very basic product of Greece, are the table olives. There are numerous varieties and there are different colors depending on maturity of the fruit at time of harvesting, and of course different ways of processing. There you see the green ones, which is a less mature olive at the time of harvesting, and then you have the famous Kalamata, a little bit more mature olive at the time of harvesting, and at the end you see the famous Thrumba of Thassos, a very mature Thas, a darker colored olive, and this one is also processed in a different way. It's kept in salt, that's why it has this wrinkled texture. A very basic product from Greece and less known as such is honey. Honey is a major global producer of honey. It's very favorable place for honey production due to its immense variety of microclimates and combination of maritime climate and mountainous terrain, and the long flowering season, very dry climate. It favors the production of honey, of very high quality of honey. There you see three representative types of honey from Greece. The first one is the most famous. It's thyme honey, very similar to the Irish type of honeys. It has this amber color. It's a flower honey. It's rather on the sweet and it's quite a runny texture. The second one is a mountainous type of honey. It's darker, less sweet. It has a more complex flavor, very well balanced. And the third one is the arbutus honey, also known as strawberry tree, one of the native trees in Ireland. Typical Mediterranean type of honey, not very easy to find. It has a bittersweet flavor, very interesting combination of flavors there. These honeys are also organic, made in Eleftheroupoli, Kavala, from the mountain of Pageon. It's a family business, small family-run business, owned by Mr. Dimitris Novakidis. Tahini is also a traditional product of Greece. It's made out of sesame. It's a very popular product in the whole Eastern Mediterranean. It's practically a sesame paste. It comes in a whole grain in a light version. Very nutritious. It's used for salads, dips, or it goes very well with sweet substances like honey. And that's what exactly halva is. It's a tahini-based dessert mixed with caramel or honey. My list of products concludes with organic walnuts coming from Mountain Olympus, stuffed vine leaves, handmade, and mountain tea, which is a popular herbal tea in Greece with medicinal properties.
Now we will have a video from Christos Moussaviras, who is a painter, and then we will speak to Christos. Good evening, Christos. How are you?
Good evening. How are you keeping?
Very well. I'm admiring all your artwork. It's very diverse. Stella was telling me she has the hummingbird.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I see a lot of birds, mermaids. You seem to like mermaids as well.
Yeah.
I recognized Dunleary Pier.
Yes.
I lived near there, so I recognized it immediately. But I mean, you're a highly visual person. Where did this all stem from?
I always have it. I'm a very creative person, so I do all sorts of things, create all creative things. So I published a poetry book 2 years ago. Now I just published my first novel in English. I do photography as well, and painting. Painting was a passion of mine since I was a kid. I always painted, but I never managed to actually get into the School of Fine Arts in Greece, and I moved to Ireland. And then I went into a different, trying to find work and find a house to live, try to settle here. So I left it for many years, my creative side. But now the last few years, I settled again. I have a permanent job. I have everything, So I just started working again as a painter.
Yeah, so you do the painting on the you have a day job and then you do the painting.
Yes.
As
a hobby. As a hobby mainly.
As a hobby, but you sell your paintings.
I do, yeah. If anybody wants, I get commissions every now and again. Like the person you see in an old fella, a portrait. It was a colleague of mine asked for it because she wanted to give it to one of his colleagues as a gift. It was his father, and he passed away 2 years ago. So as a gift to his colleague, he commissioned me to do this portrait of him.
Yeah, with the grey hair, the man with the grey hair. Yes, I was, and the one with the red hair. Stella was telling me that sold immediately. You've been at every Hellenic meeting from the very beginning.
From the start, yeah.
Yes, that's amazing. So, but it's, most artists say they have a vision of something, but yours it's everything.
Yeah, well, it depends what I want to say. Because I like photography. Sometimes I take some of the landscapes you saw is my photographs. So if I like them too much, like the lake in Orestias Lake, it was in Castoria. I went with my mother for a short trip, and I took this picture. And I thought it's a very nice picture. Why don't I turn it into a painting? And it turned out very nicely.
This is the one with the boat, like
the boat, yeah, the purpley one, yeah.
Yes.
It was a photograph I took in Castoria, in Lake Orestias in Greece. So I love it as a photograph, and I turned it into a painting as well.
Funnily enough, I was wondering, was it Connemara because of the purple hues? Over in the west of Ireland in Connemara, it has similar colours.
Irish landscape, it was one that was very brown. It was from Glendalough.
Oh, yes. I live just near Glendalough, sort of 10 minutes away, so I know the scenery around there very, very well. Yes. Now, Christos, if anybody wanted to get in touch with you to buy your paintings or to view your paintings online, where can they do that?
It's my own Instagram page that it was shown in the video as well, Christos Muzeveris Art. So you follow me on Instagram. And also participate with some paintings is in a website that's not all mine. It was many Irish artists participate. Is irishartist.ie. So I have also a few paintings on that website as well.
And of course the Hellenic community.
Yes, and of course the Hellenic community. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Christos. It was a pleasure watching your video, and the very best of luck for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
We will. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to Pagona, and she is Georgia Food. So we'll have a video for her. Good evening, Pagona.
Good evening, Tina.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Where are
Okay.
we speaking to you from? It looks lovely.
Well, actually, it's in my house.
Oh, is it? It looked like you were in beautiful sunshine somewhere. I thought you were speaking to me from Greece, maybe.
No,
So tell me,
that's
how did you
like
start your business?
Sorry, but I need to turn it up a little. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, certainly. How did you start your business?
Well, actually, my initial job is not a business owner or something. I used to be a teacher and then a school principal. But when I came here in Ireland, it was not very easy to find a job like that. So I thought it might be interesting to change a little and start my own business and have a look at how it will go, and if it's good, I may go on.
That was a big decision to make.
Of course, yeah.
And did you get help? How did you decide on food as opposed to anything else? Was there a language barrier? Was that part of your problem?
Well, I don't think the language is a problem to me, although I don't have much chance of speaking the language because, of the kind of things I do. The main issue is that when I wanted to find some job like the one I had in Greece, I couldn't. So I didn't think about it a lot, and I thought it might be a challenge to change and see something else. Another issue is that because I'm used to cooking Greek food, and I stick to that. I would like to find and to cook that way. So I brought things for my family here and thought, why not do it for other people as well, other Greeks possibly. So this is what I did. I also attended a course in cookery. I am a professional chef as well. So this is the way it went. Okay.
And where do you supply? Where could people buy your food?
Do you mean if I have a web page or something?
Yeah, where is it available?
Well, I was lucky in a way because when I started, I practically started, was last year in February. And I am proud to say that it all started in Epic Museum.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Last year. Yeah, it was a very excellent experience for me, and unfortunately after that coronavirus stopped whatever initiative for me, so I thought about open markets and I practically started something, but then it all stopped because of that, and some very helpful Irish people set up a platform where small businesses could register and start from there. So this is what I did. It went on well for some time, but then the platform could not go on, because it was on a voluntary basis and it needs some funding. So now I continue with the Facebook page.
Oh.
This is what I do, and with friends and all these customers I have up to now.
Oh, very good. So you're hoping your business will grow from now on?
Well, yeah, and I want to thank you all for this initiative, both this year and last year. I mean, the Hellenic community, for supporting me, because you want some audience to have to start, and I also want to make a promise to my customers that as soon as I can, I will start my own web page.
Oh, excellent. Good. That would be good.
I never say it in public. I mean, yeah.
Excellent. Well, Pagona, we wish you the very best of luck with your business. I'm sure you'll get a lot of customers. So hopefully late 2021 things will really pick up once we get this thing finished.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All the very best. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Now, next we are going to interview Pandelis Goularis, who is an author, and I think we may have a video. Pandelis.
Good evening, Tina. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. I believe you are coordinating the committee in Ireland for the Society of Friends of Nikos Kazantzakis.
Yes. I think, if I remember well, in January 2020, the president of the International Committee of the International Society of Friends of Nikos Kazantzakis came here to Ireland. He had some presentation and speeches to the Greek school and other audience. And in that period, we created the Irish branch of the International Society of Friends of Nikos Kazantzakis. And for the moment, I am the coordinator of this society.
When did you start reading Kazantzakis?
Oh, from my childhood.
Oh, really? I'm surrounded. I'm surrounded by books. I have more here. Tell me, Pandelis, how can somebody join the society?
It's easy. Communicate to the Greek community, to the Hellenic community, and if you express your desire to participate, you are already a member.
Excellent. Oh, that's very good. Now, tell me about your native city in northern Greece.
My city is Veria. My home town is Veria. It's a town very well known from the Bible because it is written in the Acts that St. Paul visited twice Veria. And also it is written that Verians were very open-minded to accept the word and to study the scriptures.
Ah, okay.
Yes. So my hometown is famous for the St. Paul's altar. According to the tradition, St. Paul spoke from this place to the Verians. And also is very famous because it is very close, only 10 kilometers far from the Vergina village, which was the old capital of the Macedonian kingdom, the Aegeus.
Oh, right.
In that place, situated the tomb of King Philip II, the father of Alexander the Great.
Oh, I see. Ah, very interesting. Tell me something. Did Anthony Quinn capture the soul of Zorba?
I think yes. And I think that he believed it too. And if somebody believes on something, he can do it better.
I remember watching that film when I was very, very young. And I mean, for me, he looked totally authentic. I was very surprised he wasn't Greek.
Yes, yes.
He really
and
was.
also the music is very good for this kind of movie.
Yes,
And
excellent.
it became very popular all over the world. The music of Zorba, you know.
Very, very popular. Are you an author yourself?
Yes, yes. Actually, I was not an author. I became an author here in Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I came in Ireland at the end of 2015, thanks to my wife, because she got a job here in Ireland. She's a nurse, and I was a pensioner since 2013. I didn't have to do anything in Greece, so I came here in Ireland. The only thing I was doing the first period was to accompany my youngest daughter to the elementary school and to take her back in early afternoon down from Dublin 1. So I was spending my day in the Central Library in Dublin.
Oh.
So with my laptop, I started to create a blog, to write stories in the blog, like my feelings from what I left in Greece and my feelings of what I faced here. Stories from the youth, stories from the past, and stories for immigration here. That opens the desire of other friends and people to write in this blog, and it became very popular. And from this blog, we already published 5 books with stories from this blog, and there are 2 other on the way.
That's very good. That's very interesting. That was certainly a way of passing time and actually producing something really interesting. Yeah, very good. You're also supporting the efforts of the Hellenic community to help its members to integrate into Ireland. How are you doing that?
It's not something.
By the writing every day?
Yeah. Personally, I have to say that it was not the first time I have been in Ireland. First time I came here was in 1994 for training reasons. And I stayed here for 2 months in 1994. I was working in the Eastern Health Board. because I was in Greece. I worked for 30 years in the health sector,
Oh.
in the administration of the health sector. So I came here in 1994 for training reasons. I had friends here. I loved the country. And I started now to present, especially Dublin, to my friends, my Greek friends, and to the Hellenic community here.
Oh, he's frozen.
Πάγωσε, παιδιά.
Sorry, we lost you there for one moment.
Yeah, I had network problems.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
No problem. We all have network problems.
I understand, yeah.
Oh, every time we have our fingers crossed in case it goes. And you're writing about Irish monuments, do you?
Yes.
That's very interesting. You go around all the squares and look at the different monuments?
Yes, I did it before COVID.
Very good.
Yeah, and not only monuments and the history behind the monuments.
Yes, of course. Pandelis, it was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to me too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good night. Barney Spender. No.
So I'll just say a few words about that.
Okay.
Δεν ξέρω τι έγινε, πάντως δεν έχουμε μαζί μας τον Barney Spender. Barney is a sport journalist and documentary filmmaker whose lyrical The Road to Sparta won several awards and has screened globally. His Irish production company Ragged Rog is currently working on a documentary set in Drogheda. I've seen The Road to Sparta and it's a very nice film. So we are going to see a short trailer about it. But Barney lives in France, and where he had planned to take part to date for the live interview, but I think it just didn't work out. So sent us some information about his company, which I just read, and a short trailer.
There's always trouble brewing in the East. You hardly need it from the Sibyl's mouth. The yellow sounds of discord are brought forth by the ill winds that blow out of the south.
You know, Phidippides was not the man who ran from the battlefield of Marathon to the Acropolis. He actually ran an ultramarathon from Athens to Sparta. My commitment is to do the best that I can, just to leave it all out on the course.
I think about touching that statue every single day and kissing the feet of Leonardo's.
It's what keeps me going. I mean, I live for this.
I'm human. I have self-doubt, and I have anxiety and worry about the outcome of this race.
Well, mentally, I don't feel 100% okay, but I'll handle it.
It gets difficult now. Okay, this is where you gotta start digging a little bit deeper now.
Finish the race, or you don't finish the race. There's no halfway house anyway.
Phidippides was running to save his family. He knew the invading Persians would slay his family. It would be the end of Greece. He was running to save democracy, to save what has become Western thought.
So you're giving up, are you?
Good evening. Now we have Chris Lazarus from Leon Wooden Jewellery. How are you, Chris? Good. Are you based in Dublin?
Yes, in Dublin.
Good. You import this wooden jewellery from Greece. Is that
That's
correct?
right. That's right. It's a friend of mine who, sorry, go on.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah, I was saying it's a friend of mine who makes these wooden jewelry, and he sells. Actually, it's not his own job, right? He's like a hobby, and he sells them in Greece. It's a very good friend of mine. I have 40, 50 years with him. So I thought, why not bring them here to Ireland? People might be interested. So that's what I do.
And where do you supply to? Anywhere in particular?
No, for the moment they are just online.
All right. And tell me, what is his favorite wood to work with?
Right, you didn't show my video, so
No,
I'm going
we're
to
going
explain.
to show it. Sorry, I was very rude. I started talking to you before we got a chance to show the video.
No, that's
so
fine, that's
I
fine.
know we will show the video as soon as I finish speaking to you.
No, that's fine. I'm just, because I'm going to, no problem. So, no, what happened is that that's a friend of mine who is, he's working with wood since he was a child, right? So it is 40, 50 years old. At the same time, he was playing guitar and bouzouki.
Oh, yes.
And then by the time he found out that, he was building a lot of games or toys or something with the wood because he knew it, he liked it very much. And meanwhile, he was playing the bouzouki or the guitar. And then he found out a few years later that why not do music and wood, put them together, which means build a guitar or a bouzouki.
Yes.
So that's what he did. He started building or repairing bouzouki and guitars. These instruments need very good woods. So they have olive, ebony, they have olive. All right, can you see me now?
Yes, I can, yes.
All right. So what happened is that, yes, all these jewelry that you say are made from wood. What is left from when they're building the guitars or the bouzouki. So all the leftovers, they were taken and put as a small jewelry. The woods that you see here are the woods left over from the guitars, which is ebony, can be olive, walnut, maple.
Maple, yes.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
And rosewood, one of the best quality woods.
Yes, rosewood is beautiful.
Yes, absolutely.
Very,
so
very
that's why.
beautiful.
That's why
his jewelry, I'm looking at it here on screen, it's fascinating and so very, very different. He's very, very good designer.
No, there's nothing to do with China. There are
no,
totally...
designer.
Sorry, designer.
No, nothing to do with China. No.
Sorry about that. Yes, he's very talented. So yes, he does a lot of work like that.
And he just started himself from a very young age.
That's right,
he didn't go to school. Nobody taught him. No.
No. What else? He started with his as a child. He was working with his grandfather was a carpenter, and working. He was with him as a child.
Yes.
I would say like he was playing with the wood or something like that with his grandfather. But then he was learning about woods. He know what's the good part of the woods, and little by little he started working with the woods. As I said, starting small toys or ships
Yes.
or other kind of creation with wood. And then just because his love on the music, he combined together. So here working with wood, building instruments, and with the music because he loves it.
Yes, but it was a great idea to use the leftover wood, to make very beautiful things instead of just throwing it away.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's the good thing. And what's the difference with the other jewelry that are in the market is that all the others, as you said, they can be from China or cheap woods.
Yes.
But this one are very
Greek.
That's right. You might not maybe see it on the photograph, and you see that. For example, I have one here, like.
Oh yes, Oh
yeah,
yes.
right. This is ebony.
Ebony
and
in the middle.
And maple.
A maple and ebony. Beautiful.
That's right. Yeah, but this one, as you said, you can see that just in a photograph, but you cannot really know what what kind of wood is that.
Yes.
Yeah, or the quality of the wood.
That's right.
The photograph don't really show it.
No, but it's a lovely video. It's a very nice video.
Thank you.
You said it's available online.
Yes.
And what is the website?
It's Leon, for his name, Leon Wood Jewelry.com.
Ah, yes, we have it up now. Leon Wooden Jewelry. That's lovely. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you very much, Tina.
A pleasure to talk to you.
Same way.
Good night.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
Now we have Anastasia. We actually started yesterday with Anastasia, but unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, it didn't come out very well. So we are going to redo Anastasia now.
No, she has bad connection.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, so Petros Consulas.
Ah, so unfortunately Anastasia has a bad connection again, so we are going to go on to Petros Consulas, the soul of Crete in County Carlo.
Hi guys, my name is Petros. I'm originally from Greece, living in County Carlo since 2005, and the name of my company is the Soul of Crete. My company sources the best Greek products from small producers in Greece to service the Irish market. Our award-winning extra virgin olive oil comes directly from small producer in Crete to us here in Carlo. Our extra virgin olive oil is cold pressed, low acidity, and has won more than 30 global taste awards. We also have variety of tapenades, spreads, sauces, dips, honey, olives, seasonal mixes, and the only Irish-made tahini produced here in County Carlo. You can find us at the Carlo Farmers Market every Saturday and online at www.thesoulofcrete.ie, and we ship throughout Ireland. Ευχαριστώ, τα λέμε.
Good evening, Petros.
Hi, Tina, how are you?
I'm very well. You're down in County Carlo.
I'm in County Carlo, indeed, yeah.
I'm a Wicklow woman myself.
How are you? So you're not that far, are you?
Not too far.
That's
not too
good.
far at all. How did you start your business? I mean, when did you come over to Ireland?
When did I come to Ireland?
Yeah.
I'm here in Ireland since 2005.
Okay, and did you start your business immediately?
No. I used to work as a fitness instructor and personal trainer for years in a gym, and I used to rent my own. I used to rent community halls around of County Carlo, and I used to run my own classes, exercise to music, and also conditioning, strength conditioning, Before that, I used to work as a lorry driver. I used to drive in the whole of Ireland.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and about 2014, an evening in Dublin, I was drinking Iraqi, and I had some barbecue with some friends of mine, and we were giving out why we have no good olive oil and good products here in Ireland. And we decided to open the company through the Iraqi.
Oh, right.
Right.
Tell me, do you ever feature your food at the RDS? You know they have a food.
Yes. I met you before.
Yes, I think
Could
so.
be.
As you were talking, I thought, no, I've been
Yep.
there. That's
Yeah.
right. That food fair is excellent.
Yeah, I joined like RDS, the Christmas fair, the gifted Christmas for the last 3 years.
That's right.
Also, I attend like a Savor Kilkenny, Waterford Harvest, the Harvest Waterford Festival, Dungarvan, and good few other. Like I remember all of them now. But
So
now
you go around some of the farmers markets, do you?
I'm in the Carlo Farmers Market only every Saturday morning.
Oh, do you?
Also, yeah. Also, the last 5 years. Also, I have an online store.
What is your online store? What's the
The
website?
address. The website is the www.thesoulofcrete.ie.
Do you think people from Crete live longer than Irish people with all the
People
good
from
food?
Say it again. People from Crete. First of all, to tell you, I'm not from Crete.
Oh, are you not from Crete?
No, I'm not Cretan. No.
Ah, I've been given a bad steer here. Where are you
Well,
from?
I'm original from Eastern Macedonia and from the place called Drama, close to Thessaloniki. But I used to live for years. Can you hear me?
I can't hear very well. Hold on a minute. We're going to deal with this. Did you say Paris?
No, I said I'm original from Eastern Macedonia, from the place called Brama. But I used to live for years in the Greek islands. I used to live in Mykonos, and then I used to live in Crete before I moved down here in Ireland.
Ah, okay. Tell me, what do you think of the new Sellens bypass?
The Selling bypass. I never
The
heard that.
Sellens bypass. They've put a new bypass in going past Sellens. Does
Oh,
that
the new.
not...
Oh, no, I don't know about it. No.
No.
About Stalins, you mean?
Sellens.
County Kildare.
County Kildare. You have it here to ask him what he thinks of the new Sellens bypass. Don't blame me. Stella told me to ask.
I'm going to ring it tomorrow. Don't worry, Talia. I'm going to ring it tomorrow.
Well, listen, I sincerely hope that we'll get back on track for that food festival at the RDS this year. I really missed it the last year.
Yeah, I didn't go ahead.
It's an amazing event. That whole hall full of there's so many wonderful food at that it's terrible that it wasn't held. Well, it couldn't be held this
it wasn't only the RDS, it was more of the festivals were cancelled.
Yes, all of them cancelled.
Big loss.
But Petros, it was a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, Tina.
All the very best.
Mind yourself. Bye-bye.
Will do. Bye-bye. Now we have Richard from Bolton Trust, hopefully.
Good evening.
Good evening, Richard. How are you?
How are you? Very well, thank you.
Good. Bolton Trust has been going since 1987, is that correct?
It is indeed, yes.
Good. And what has changed in the way you operate in recent years?
Well, I think the need for encouraging entrepreneurship Oh, I beg your pardon. Sorry. Wait, how can I check that now? Wait. Am I on now?
Yes, no, there you go.
How are you?
Oh, I like your paintings.
Well, they're not mine, I assure you. I am
right.
not my better three quarters is
Oh,
responsible.
right.
But
Well,
I can't. I don't know where. How can I sit?
no, there you are. Don't move. You're
Okay,
looking
now
good.
can you see me now?
Yes, you're dead center.
Right.
Well, sorry, I was asking you, what has changed in the way you operate in recent years?
Well, very little. As I was mentioning, is that the need for encouraging people to set up their own businesses is constant.
Yes.
And I must say that when this organisation was set up, and I wasn't part of it initially, Ireland was in a very deep depression, of course.
Yes.
And the individuals who set it up were lecturers in the TU Dublin now, but it was DIT at that time. And they decided that if they could help staff and students identify self-employment opportunities, that they would encourage them. And they would do this by attracting members, of course, who would give of their time voluntarily, coming from the different expertise within the institute, finance, marketing, intellectual capital, all that area, that it would give a few hours and help a potential startup to help them create a job for themselves, perhaps, and then hopefully, if successful, for many other people as well.
Oh, I see. And you've had some Greeks attending your courses.
Well, exactly in recent times, yes, in the courses that we were managing through Springboard. Stella was a great, I must say, enthusiast in that area, and that's how she invited me in to give a talk to you this evening, or to talk to you this evening.
Yes. All right. And tell me, are there many non-Irish entrepreneurs on your books?
Well, we don't. There are a few, but I mean, we don't have people on our books as such. It's just that we've helped different people during the period in a range of ways, either by setting up competitions. We do still run, I suppose, which is our longest serving one, is the Student Enterprise Competition, which is where we started actually. But we also run an awards for people coming through New Frontiers, Hot House, and these various, if you like, pathways to entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And then, of course, in recent times, as you in your first question, of course, is that in relatively recent times we are actually investing in some of them through angel funds. Give them some money to start up at the very early stage, to help them sort of move on to gain further finance from other institutions, if you like, to expand their business.
Oh, that's very good. Very good.
Well,
tell me, Richard, is Brexit in some way an advantage to someone trying to set up a business over here now?
Well, I mean, that's a very interesting question as far as from the entrepreneurship, which is a new name, actually, a relatively new name for setting up your own business, actually.
Yes.
Is that every change creates an opportunity and a threat. So without a doubt, there will be opportunities in the Brexit process. However, it is quite complex because of a whole range of sort of political and historical reasons. But how it will affect us overall is hard to say. Insofar as Brexit or even COVID, I mean, how can we say there are too many unknowns? But there will be opportunities, as indeed for those who are in business at the moment, there are threats, and they have to identify those threats as quickly as possible. And then my advice would be seek help, definitely advice as quickly as possible.
Yes, exactly. Richard Hayward-Jones, Chairman of the Bolton Trust, thank you very, very much for joining us this evening.
Good evening. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye. And now we're going to have a video from Sweeney's.
So, good evening, everyone. You're all very welcome to Sweeney's Chemist here in number 1 Lincoln Place. We're an old, early Victorian chemist. The building was bought by Mark Swenny in 1847. He ran it as his consulting room for 6 years, and then he transferred it over to one of his sons, who was a chemist. It stayed in the family, and the last of them, who was Frederick, died in 1926. But it was in that family from the early mid 1800s until then, and then it went on to other Irish chemists, and so it stayed working as a functioning chemist or pharmacy until 2009. In February of that year, it closed down when the 2 ladies who ran it, the Quinn sisters, retired. They turned the key in the door. They left it exactly as it was, and then I came in at the end of October in 2009, and because I'd studied literature and had studied James Joyce, and of course in chapter 5 in Ulysses, one of his brilliant books, Leopold Bloom, one of the main protagonists, comes in here to buy a face cream for his lovely wife Molly, who's a soprano, and then he sees the orange flower water, buys it for her as well. He's going to his friend Dignam's funeral, and of course he sees the lemon soap, and there used to be Turkish baths at the end of the block here, which are no longer there, sadly. They were pulled down in the late 50s, and so he buys a bar of lemon soap to have a bath there. He's after coming out of the church, which is St. Andrew's, or All Hallows as it was called in the book, which is just in front of me on Westland Row. And of course, then he goes to the pub called Conway's, which is now Kennedy's, to have a pint of beer with one of his friends. So, and all of these places are mentioned in chapter 5 in Ulysses. And as a result, anyone who's read Ulysses, when they come to Dublin and they want to find a piece of authentic Joycean Dublin, they come into us. Dubliners, at the end, the last one, The Dead, there's a lovely song, that's a Scottish song called The Lass of Aughrim. So again, it's one of the most famous. But the nice thing about it is it only lasts a minute. Songs that last too long quite often are too long. So yeah, we can do that one. So in Joyce's first book, The Dubliners, which is a collection of 15 stories, and most of them are quite short, except the last one called The Dead, and there's a beautiful song in that called The Lass of Aughrim. It's a song from Scotland, 1760, and it tells the story of the local lord falling in love with the local village girl, and of course he goes off to sea without telling her, leaving her with more than just a kiss. So when her babe is born, she goes to the castle gates, and his mother or brother won't let her in. So this song is The Lass of Aughrim. If you be the lass of Aughrim, as you're telling me you be, tell me the first token that passed between you and me. Oh, do you remember that night on yon lean hill, when we first met together? I'm sorry now to tell. Oh, the rain, it falls on my heavy locks, and the dew, it wets my skin. My babe lies cold within my arms. Lord Gregory, let me in. My babe lies cold within my arms. Lord Gregory, let me in.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ τον PJ, τον αγαπητό φίλο PJ. Να πούμε ότι το φαρμακείο που λέγεται Sweeney's δεν είναι φαρμακείο, έτσι, ήταν παλιά φαρμακείο, τώρα είναι βιβλιοπωλείο, όπου μπορεί κάποιος να αγοράσει το σαπούνι, το φημισμένο σαπούνι και το άρωμα της μόλις. Οπότε να το ξεκαθαρίσουμε αυτό. Χρήστο, ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ που παραμένεις ξύπνιος στην Αθήνα και είσαι μαζί μας.
Το κοινό πρέπει να ευχαριστήσουμε. Το κοινό που πραγματικά όποιοι ενδιαφέρθηκαν να μείνουν σε αυτή την εκπληκτική διοργάνωση, τους ευχαριστούμε ένθερμα.
Να πούμε ότι ο Χρήστος δούλεψε μαζί μας σε αυτό το φεστιβάλ ως σύμβουλος πολιτιστικός. Κάνει το μάστερ του τώρα στο... Πες μας, Χρήστο, ακριβώς το μάστερ, αυτό που κάνεις.
Είναι Cultural Organization Management.
Μάλιστα. Είναι το αντίστοιχο, εγώ το καταλαβαίνω, είναι το αντίστοιχο το MBA, ας πούμε, που λέμε στο business, απλά αυτό ασχολείται μόνο στον πολιτισμό.
Ναι, εξειδικεύεται εκεί.
Εξειδικεύεται στον πολιτισμό, οπότε είμαστε πειραματόζωα για το Χρήστο αυτή τη στιγμή και μας προσπάθησε να μας βάλει σε κάποιους καλούς κανόνες. Προφανώς δεν τους ακολουθήσαμε όλους τους κανόνες που μας έθεσε.
Συμβαίνουν αυτά, ειδικά στις ζωντανές διοργανώσεις Στέλλα. Είναι το στοίχημα, είναι ένα μεγάλο στοίχημα. Βλέπεις ότι τώρα οι περισσότεροι πολιτιστικοί οργανισμοί, καταρχήν ο πολιτισμός, όπως είπε και ο κύριος Γιώτος πριν από λίγο, είναι ο πρώτος που βάλεται όταν υπάρχει οποιαδήποτε κρίση. Η πρέσβης επίσης, αν θέλουμε να στοιχειολογήσουμε κάποια πράγματα, στο χαιρετισμό της, είπε ότι οι περισσότεροι οργανισμοί ουσιαστικά κρέμασαν τα κλειδιά τους. Ότι δεν υπήρχαν, δηλαδή, οποιαδήποτε δραστηριότητα είχε προγραμματιστεί, αναστάλθηκε. Όταν λοιπόν μια κοινότητα, μια τέτοια κοινότητα σαν και εσάς, που στόχο έχει να φέρει, να ενσωματώσει τις ταυτότητες τις εθνικές μαζί, σε ένα χώρο όπως είναι η Ιρλανδία, είναι εξαιρετικά σημαντικό και μόνο αυτό, όποιες δυσκολίες και αν έχει φέρει, είναι συγκινητικό για μένα τουλάχιστον. Και μάλιστα όταν μιλάμε για εθελοντική δουλειά τόσων ανθρώπων. Και όπως λέει και κάποια πανεπιστημιακή καθηγήτρια, οι πολιτιστικές εκδηλώσεις δεν θέλουν αριθμούς, δεν θέλουν χρήματα κλπ. Θέλουν καρδιά. Και αυτό σήμερα εσείς το αποδείξατε. Και είμαι πολύ χαρούμενος που πήρα μέρος σε αυτό.
Αλήθεια. Γιατί εμείς τώρα έχουμε κουραστεί τόσο πολύ.
Το ξέρω, φαίνεται.
Είμαστε εδώ με την Τίνα.
Αντί και το τρίτε. Tina, what a bright presence you were for the festival this year. Thank you for bringing your professionalism to this event. Thank you so much.
That is my pleasure entirely. Thank you.
Στέλλα, εσύ ως διοργανώτρια φέρεις την κούραση, που πρέπει να δείχνει ο διοργανωτής βέβαια. Αλλά οκ.
Ναι.
Είναι τα credits αυτά, είναι ωραία credits.
Δεν ξέρω, αυτή τη στιγμή δεν αισθανόμαστε τίποτα άλλο εκτός από κούραση. Σαφώς, δεν το συζητάω ότι χαιρόμαστε πάρα πολύ.
Είναι εξαιρετικό αυτό που βγήκε στον αέρα.
Συμμετείχε τόσος κόσμος, έτσι.
Ναι. Και το σημαντικότερο είναι, αν θέλουμε να πούμε 5 βασικά σημεία για να μην κουράζουμε όλο τον κόσμο. Τι κάνει αυτή τη στιγμή το φεστιβάλ, τα βασικά ενός φεστιβάλ τι είναι? Είναι η χαρά και η επικοινωνία. Βέβαια, αυτές οι συμβάσεις έχουν να κάνουν με τη φυσική παρουσία των ανθρώπων. Το ότι γίνονται, αναφέρομαι σε αυτό που είπες πριν, πειραματόζωα, το ότι γίνονται δεν είναι έτσι, γιατί πειραματικό είναι ούτως ή άλλως όλη αυτή η προσπάθεια. Αυτές οι συμβάσεις, λοιπόν, όταν προσπαθούν να μεταφερθούν διαδικτυακά, ουσιαστικά καταργούνται. Άρα μιλάμε για μια υβριδική προσπάθεια που πάρα πολύ λίγοι οργανισμοί έχουν επιχειρήσει να κάνουν, κυρίως οι πολύ μεγάλοι οργανισμοί και οι καλά χρηματοδοτημένοι οργανισμοί. Άρα λοιπόν όταν μια κοινότητα το φέρνει αυτό ως μια υβριδική προσπάθεια, είναι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό. Και τι βγάλαμε εμείς από αυτό το φεστιβάλ? Εγώ θα πάρω 5 πράγματα που είναι ουσιαστικά. Καταρχήν ότι φέρατε αυτό που πλέον έχει κατανοήσει όλος ο κόσμος, ότι η επιχειρηματικότητα πάει μαζί με τον πολιτισμό. Όλα τα μοντέλα της οικονομικής ανάπτυξης από το 60 και μετά, το ξέρουμε πολύ καλά, ότι είδαν ότι δεν μπορούν να είναι μονοδιάστατα και ότι πρέπει να λαμβάνουν μέρος και τους κοινωνικο-πολιτιστικούς παράγοντες και τους περιβαλλοντολογικούς παράγοντες. Αυτή είναι η αειφορία που μιλάνε όλοι και η βιωσιμότητα. Όταν λοιπόν μια χώρα σαν την Ιρλανδία το κατέχει πάρα πολύ καλά αυτό, και όταν μια κοινότητα σαν και εσάς αυτό το πράγμα θέλετε να το δείξετε στον κόσμο, είναι εξαιρετικό και το έφερε το φεστιβάλ αυτό το πράγμα. Το άλλο σημαντικό μήνυμα που έφερε είναι ο ιδρυτής, ο Νέβιλ Ίστελ, ο οποίος δημιούργησε ένα τέτοιο μουσείο εκεί.
Το είδες, Χρήστο.
Είναι σημαντικό ότι έχει στεγάσει την ιδέα της διασποράς. Και αυτός ο άνθρωπος είπε και επίσης κάτι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό. Πώς προσπαθεί. Η ιδέα του ξεκίνησε από το να αλλάξει την κοινωνική αναπαράσταση των Ιρλανδών, την ιστορική αναπαράσταση των Ιρλανδών στον κόσμο, που έχει να κάνει με εμφυλίους, με απεικιοκρατίες κλπ. Και να φέρει να φέρει το θετικό στίγμα στον κόσμο του τι οι άνθρωποι έχουν καταφέρει ενσωματωμένοι σε άλλες κοινωνίες. Λοιπόν, επίσης ένα πάρα πολύ σημαντικό μήνυμα που έφερε. Για να μην πω πολλά, οι εθνικότητες του σχολείου που αναφέρθηκαν, 105 εθνικότητες, όπου συνυπάρχουν εκεί, όπως μας είπε μία δασκάλα. Και για να το κλείσω έτσι πολύ ωραία, για εσάς, για να πάρετε λίγο έτσι κουράγιο, το μήνυμα επίσης της κυρίας Παναγιωτίδη, ότι για πρώτη φορά έφερε τα προϊόντα της δώσατε τη δυνατότητα να τα δείξει μέσα από το φεστιβάλ. Και τελικά, αυτό μου άρεσε πάρα πολύ και ήθελα να το κρατήσω για το τέλος, όταν ένα φεστιβάλ, που όπως είπαμε τι είναι γιορτή και επικοινωνία, φέρνει δύο ανθρώπους μαζί, όπως ήταν ο Σαντιάγκο και η Σοφία, όπως την ερώτηση της Τίνα, που γνωριστήκατε και είπαν στο φεστιβάλ και αποφάσισαν να είναι μαζί. Το μήνυμα που εσείς δίνετε αυτές τις επικοινωνίες και της ύπαρξης είναι απόλυτα επιτυχημένο. Αυτά λοιπόν ήθελα εν κατακλείδη να πω. Θα μπορούσαμε να πούμε πάρα πολλά, αλλά νομίζω ότι αυτά είναι τα σημαντικότερα που πρέπει να βγει από αυτό το φεστιβάλ. Και πάλι συγχαρητήρια σε όλους, στα παιδιά που είναι πίσω από όλη αυτή την προσπάθεια. Οι τεχνικοί έκαναν μια εξαιρετική προσπάθεια παρόλες τις δυσκολίες που χτες ξέρω ότι υπήρχαν και βγήκε στον αέρα ότι υπήρχαν. Θα ήταν κρίμα μια τέτοια προσπάθεια να μην βγει στον αέρα. Βγήκε όμως σήμερα και σας αξίζουν όλους πολλά συγχαρητήρια. Ελπίζω του χρόνου οι συμβάσεις του φεστιβάλ που είναι η φυσική επαφή των ανθρώπων να πραγματοποιηθεί, να γίνει έτσι και να χαρούμε και να γιορτάσουμε όλοι μαζί.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ, Χρήστο, και χάρηκα ιδιαίτερα που μπόρεσες και φέτος να βοηθήσεις. Πριν από 2 χρόνια ήρθες στην Ιρλανδία ως εκπρόσωπος του Ιουνίου Κέντρου και πώς τα φέρνει έτσι η ζωή τελικά. Και φέτος αποφάσισες να κάνεις αυτό το μάστερ, να μας βοηθήσεις. Ναι. Λοιπόν, είναι πραγματικά αστείο.
Ήταν εξαιρετική και εκείνη η προσπάθεια. Μπράβο σας.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Να ζητήσω συγγνώμη από αυτούς που δεν μπόρεσαν να συνδεθούν σήμερα μαζί μας για διάφορους λόγους. Αλλά είμαστε τυχεροί που η Τίνα θα τελειώσει με τον αγαπημένο μας Ιορδάνη. So Tina, you're going to interview our Iordanis and we're going to watch a small video, and then I think he will be our very last guest, special last guest as always with his beautiful music.
Hello, Iordanos.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I have to say I'm incredibly impressed. That is
Thank
a
you so much.
beautiful, beautiful piece of music.
Oh, thank you so much.
Not at all.
This was made for it was a part of the new Voices of Ireland project funded by the Arts Council of Ireland. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Very, very good. I mean, that is an incredible talent to have, to be able to produce a piece of music like that. I mean, where does it come from?
Well, this idea was inspired from a painting of a friend who had Shahmaran, the ancient Persian goddess, painted. And then I thought, okay, let's collaborate and make a piece of music for that painting. And it was an inspiration for a painting, actually.
Funnily enough, I was saying to Stella here when it was playing, I said, in my mind, I can see Spartans marching to war, was what I got out of it. So I got the ancient bit right, but I wasn't thinking of goddesses, I was thinking of soldiers.
Who knows? Maybe it was Spartans marching to war against the ancient Persian
goddesses.
Maybe.
I don't think they would have been going to war with them.
Well, you know that the ancient Greeks wouldn't go to war with goddesses.
Definitely not. No. They wouldn't be that stupid.
Yeah.
You went to the Bolton Trust and did a course there. Did you find it helpful?
Oh, that's true. How do you know? Yeah, I went.
Because it's written here.
Okay, good. Yeah, we did in 2019 a level 7 course on business and entrepreneurship. It was a very helpful course. Yeah.
Good. Tell me, are you from a musical family?
No, I'm not from a musical family.
Really? No interest from any of your siblings, no?
No, nothing. I was the first. I started a tradition, and I will keep this tradition. I will pass it to the next generations, but not for my children, for my brother's children, maybe.
Oh, all right. Tell me, do you hear music in your dreams when you go to sleep at night? Is your mind working overtime on the next composition?
When I was playing music full time, I didn't used to dream of music, but now that we don't play music at all, I dream of music sometimes.
Do you?
Playing.
So where would you normally play? Where would you, do you play out and about around the country, or what do you do with this music?
I have 3 projects. The first is always my Greek lyrics turned into music. These songs are played in Greece usually to friends and a big circle of friends that we have there. The second project, actually the Greek project, is my way to speak about society and maybe politics and emotions as well. Now, the second project is a rock project that I have here in Ireland. Is a band called The Fallen Ones. We are playing rock. We've been playing live in Fibber McGee's, if you know the
Fibber McGee's, I do.
Yeah. It's a lovely place. We used to play a lot there before COVID. This is a nice project. So some people play football, I play rock. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
And then I have another project in which I create instrumental pieces with piano and orchestra, like this one, like Shahmaran.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So, how would people find out where you're playing, or do you have a website?
I do have a website. It is iordanismusic.com.
Excellent. Well, Iordanis, I'm very impressed with your music. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm glad you told me about the goddess rather than the soldiers. But I wish you the very best of luck. I hope Fibbers opens up soon and you can get back to the love of your life.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night.
So now I think, are we done? We've had 2 nights of it. Thank you all so much for staying with us and enjoying the 5th Greek Business and Arts Festival. And we hope to see you back in reality very, very soon. Thank you for your patience with, when we had technical difficulties last night. And Anastasia, I'm sorry we couldn't, you had problems at your end and we couldn't replay you tonight. But we'll see you all very, very soon.
Άντε, βγάλουμε. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Tina. Just the last good night. Καληνύχτα, ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Tina, you can tell for sure that we couldn't have done it without you. Not only that you're another person, but it's you, your presence, your charisma. I'm a great admirer, so I think everybody has become your admirer now. So we're very proud to have a Greek like you amongst us. And thank you very much, Thodori, Fonda. Thank you, all the businesses. Well done for doing the videos, making the videos that you can use again. It's a huge effort, it's a huge step for a lot of you. A smaller step for some. And just a big well done, and thank you, and hopefully we'll see you live for the next festival. I did get a message in the end from Bernie Spender, but it's too late now to communicate. He lives in France, but we'll have him again at a different occasion. He's a very talented man himself, great Philellin, great lover of Greece. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Χίλια συγγνώμη για την μεγάλη καθυστέρηση σήμερα. Δεν ξέραμε πραγματικά πώς να πούμε όχι σε τόσο ενδιαφέροντες projects και τόσο ενδιαφέροντες ανθρώπους. Είπαμε ήδη 3 όχι αυτή την εβδομάδα. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Καληνύχτα. Καλή ξεκούραση.